asset. Well, Bitcoin is the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin. Then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
You didn't have to cut me off. Think I like it never happened, that we were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger and I feel so loved. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. I guess that I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Woo! What is going on, you guys? It is Dog Cost Crypto here with TradFi starting to think about crypto, man. I'm with the magical Cultivate Crypto. What's up, dude?
Hey. We're at we're trying to we're not really getting used to time zones, right? Because it's 1 a.m. here. So that's brunch
10.
in Vegas.
Jet lag is real, ladies and gentlemen. I know sleep, gang. What is going on, man? Who needs a kidney? That's right. Looks for danger. That is right, man. But today's video is going to be about kind of one of the first real guys in the TradFi in the advisement space that I've seen that kind of gets it. Now, I know he's there's a couple things he says in terms of there's one about in terms of the regulation that I don't quite fully agree with him. The other side is basically, of course, he's basically trying to honey dick a lot of people, the advisement space on the usability, and which is very true. There's tons. It's cryptos can be very versatile and can be used for tons of things, but he's trying to stay away from saying the speculation side, which is what people get into. If there was no speculation, there's no money to be made. People would not be in stocks at all either.
Yeah.
Right. And which I understand why he's trying not to say all that stuff, which is understandable. But he makes a great case for crypto, and it's really interesting. It's like crazy. It's like really seeing somebody in front of that space actually get it. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, and there's more and more of those coming around the corner. I think it's obvious at this point to anybody with a few brain cells that crypto's not going away. So they're like, oh shit, okay, now I actually have to critically think about this and consider it.
Right. And this guy is completely right, man. Wife Changing Money joins CMC Q2, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Crypto Mindset Q2 is live today, man. You have 2 more days to get in. 2 more days. for you to be a turbo dork with money, Lambos, and everything. But yeah, man,
Revenge of the Nerds, baby. Let's go.
Revenge. Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, man. Definitely sign up for Crypto Mindset Q2. It's out right now, man. And if you pay with crypto, you get a 15% discount. Or if you're in the Citadel right now, you guys forgot, if you guys are in the Citadel, you have a discount you can use. Pin message. All the things are there for you guys, man. But damn, this is going to be a great one. We're going to be talking Pulse Chain, L1s, meme coins. I mean, everything galore. Bitcoin rising up to like $40,000 this year. Taking advantage of the dips. I mean, we're literally telling you all this stuff, but we're going to implement it, do it, take profits. And a lot of our guys who took the last course are up quite substantially. We bought the lows. I don't know how many people can say that, but we can. Definitely we can. So definitely sign up today, man. But without further ado, man. Oh yeah, and Pulse Chain launching soon, of course. And it's the best resource you can actually have to actually be able to I would say it's probably the best resource you can have in terms for the launch and stuff. You're going to be taken care of, where we're going to be able to guide you through like basically what's going on, what's going on, how to set up, where's a good place to yield farm, where's not a good place to yield farm. Because we have a lot of experience when it comes to doing LPs and yield farming and getting and like going into these ecosystems and stuff like that. Let me tell you this right now. This is not a knock on hexagons, but the hexagons have mostly stuck to their own coin for the most time. While the Moon Gang and the Citadel and stuff, we have been in just about every useful L1 that we could possibly be in and stuff. From borrowing and lending to everything, we've kept people away from leverage. We kept people away from disasters. We kept people away from losing on Luna, Celsius, and all these centralized entities. Tons of stuff, but at the same time, we also have been able to make money on those things as well, because there's times to make money with it, there's times to abandon it. A lot of coins that we're investing in this cycle we probably will never be touching again next cycle. And some we will maybe be with for another decade or 20 years, but we keeps it moving, man. But yeah, man, without further ado, let's get into this, man. This video is I really like this video. This is a pretty interesting video and stuff. Like I don't see too many people kind of talking like this, but shut up. I wouldn't consider him old. I think he's like I think he might be like an older Xer, if I had to say.
The guy that you use on the thumbnail, right?
Yeah, Eric or Rick Edelman and stuff. He's like an OG in the finance space and stuff like that, in terms of like advisors and stuff. So let's definitely check it out. Let me know if you can hear the audio.
/Kaylin.
A little louder though.
Okay, let me.
All right. Legendary episode today. I mean, we haven't done it yet, so we'll see, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be one for the ages. I'm in a room right now with the person who I consider to be, don't blush when I say this, all right?
Okay.
The person who I consider to be the architect of everything that we are currently doing at our firm. Rick did it 20 and 30 years before we would have ever thought of it. And I'm so honored that you're here. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've read your books. I've listened to your show. I've seen you speak live. I just think the world of everything that you've done and contributed to the profession. Here is the formal write-up that we've done for you. Rick is the founder of Edelman Financial Engines, an RIA with $300 billion in assets under management. Rick is a New York Times bestselling author.
300 billion.
Not a bad chunk of change right there.
300 billion. Now, shout out to the dude, man. That is a chunk of change, man. Holy shit.
Hosts The Truth About Your Future podcast and is the founder of the Digital Assets Council of Financial Professionals. Rick Edelman, welcome to the show.
Josh, thank you. I really
crowd's going nuts. You hear that?
As well they should. I'm humbled and grateful for those very kind comments.
Okay, and Michael and Ben are here too.
I'm thankful.
Ben Carlson is the head of institutional asset management at Ritholtz Wealth. You know him from the A Wealth of Common Sense blog. He is part of the compound. He hosts the excellent Portfolio Rescue, co-hosts Animal Spirits. And Ben, welcome back to New York. Thanks for coming in.
Glad to be here.
All right. You seem really fired up. I don't know if we can we even
this
contain
is something
you today.
I need to cut from all podcasts. The introduction of the
No,
guest.
it's
I'm
not.
trying to
It's
tell
my
Michael
favorite.
this. You don't want to.
Ben, say you don't want the guest to say thank you for having me.
Yeah,
You got to pause.
No, you really don't, because by the time they're here,
yeah,
they
just
already
start
know
the
why they're here.
conversation.
So, right, just get on with
All
it.
right. What's your S&P target? You want me to go right in?
Your icon just agreed with me.
True. Oh, I also want to mention, I want to do this at the top because I'll be going to this. I'm a keynote speaker at the Vision Conference.
Yes,
and
you are.
Okay. So tell us what the Digital Assets Council of Financial Professionals is, and then we'll talk about the event itself.
So my goal has always been to look ahead at what's coming and make sure that we're giving advice to our clients that is to help them for the future that they're headed toward. And exponential technologies broadly, and in particular, crypto, blockchain, digital assets is a huge asset class that is still under development and growing rapidly. And most
Like you would think a guy in this position with like $300 billion under management and stuff really poo-poos and kind of would like really talk shit because the dude's made it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you're managing $1 billion. You're out here. You really are.
Yeah.
And he's got 300x that.
Mhm.
So you would literally think that he'd be poo-pooing crypto, but he's like literally taking like he is like literally like trying to forcefully help out crypto and is like made like a council group and stuff and is trying to get advisors to start accepting certain portions of the portfolios in crypto and stuff, which I think is pretty cool, man. And yeah, man. And actually, I would call the boomer of the group is like is fighting these like these toxic extras right now.
Yeah.
Crypto, which is wild.
Well, and if he takes home, 1% of that 300 billion a year, or just as an example, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that can compound real quickly. So, yeah.
That's right. This is correct. Not all olds are bad. That's right.
There's some smart ones out there.
For sure.
advisors know little about it, and it's highly controversial, as we know, for frankly lots of good reasons. So at DAC FP, I created this as a strictly education. It is a crypto education platform. We teach advisors about this technology so you can figure out what you ought to be telling your clients. Should they invest, or if not, why not? And if so, how much, where, and so on. Vision is the longest running, largest, and most popular crypto investment education conference specifically for financial advisors.
Yep.
And this June in Austin,
that's a niche of
June
niche, man.
12 to
specifically for financial advisors, because he can't compete with the crypto mindset course,
No knock on him, man. No knock on him. Many can't. Almost nobody can, really.
Yep.
But he's doing but I really do believe he's doing a great thing, Rick, here. I mean, basically he's like these fucking hard asses aren't changing their fucking ways. So I need to educate these guys. And he's being very you have to be very corporate, because there's a lot of, and this is kind of the negative thing that I don't agree with him about. Should we have specific rules for crypto? And then I think much later on in the interview, he says basically, no, whatever the rules is, they just want clarity. I don't know about that, bro. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? They gave they sure gave a lot of clarity to internet companies and gave them a lot of tax breaks. I mean, Amazon, Google, all these people, they weren't paying. There was no internet taxes. I remember they weren't paying taxes on internet until 2011, 2009.
Google
might have been, yeah.
Yeah, you literally didn't. Anytime you bought anything off the internet, no sales tax for any state. It was tax free. So just that alone of having the ability to sell commerce on the internet with no taxes at all gave a huge rise to the internet and stuff, and gave a competitive edge over Walmart to Amazon and a bunch of these places and stuff. The same thing that how the government's helping out Tesla with all these subsidies and contracts with NASA and stuff. I mean, even Tesla, I think SpaceX would have gone under if they never got the contract from NASA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is right. That's in crypto, man. The financial advisors are getting that education. That's correct.
At least getting one better than what Gary Gensler gave at MIT. That was trash.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it wasn't trash. It was just, it's not education that's going to help people make money. I think it's really important once you've had enough time in the crypto space, right? And for me, I would say it was about 9 months to a year and a quarter where I really started digging into cryptography, the history of Bitcoin, and really getting into the nitty gritty of that stuff. And you need to go through that at least once, to understand the basics of it. But I think a lot of these guys, at Stanford, MIT, Wall Street and stuff, I've seen some crypto education stuff out there, and it's usually what is a cryptocurrency?
It is this. And then on top of that, one thing about these advisors too, I don't agree with this. Like I don't agree with this. Bitcoin, like we love Bitcoin, we love Ethereum, but this is not the only cryptocurrency to invest in. They're basically very, very skittish about investing into anything else. It's like Bitcoin is, and they don't even mention Ethereum a lot of the time. They just go Bitcoin, which is like, you know,
they know their institutional clients or stuff like that aren't going to have a issue with that because it's more clarity under the SEC. But you know, they go for where they're safe.
Right, and this is why the average. I mean, like, let's just be for real. The average like wealth advisor, manager, and stuff doesn't really perform that well.
Yeah,
I think in the other video we did from the compound and stuff, and shout out to them. But like a lot of times they get clients. How much money do you want to keep making? It's sort of like how they tell you at the dealership, like how much you want to pay for your payment. That's not what you're supposed to do at the dealership. You're not supposed to go to the dealership and say like, I want a Hellcat. Okay, well this is what kind of payment do you want for the Hellcat? And like you're already you're getting fucked, at that point and stuff, right? So they're like, what kind of monthly income would you like from your money? Instead of like, no, let's grow this, let's grow it and stuff first. Yeah. That's why there's so many people still gambling. I mean, like for a lot of people are gambling on hedge funds and stuff in terms of not crypto hedge funds, but like a lot of these other ones because they're still trying to grow their income and stuff like that. So there could be I think it's a smart idea to probably just have a mixture, maybe some hedge fund money, and if you're in that kind of wealth class, some hedge fund money and maybe some traditional advisory stuff. But Jesus Christ, man. But, yeah, it's an old way of thinking. I think you guys are right and stuff. And hit the like button, you guys, man. Sheesh. Let's see. Okay, I'll answer this question because it's funny. DC, how much was your car in wait time? My car, let's see. After everything, it was $98,000, and with taxes and everything, it came out to like 111. Yeah. So 111,000. And then I think we got a 6 years and stuff, but I'm going to pay it off early. I just said, fuck it. Let me just whatever, get it like that and then pay it off and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty good and stuff like that. Now, normally, but be careful and stuff because the dealerships usually on those cars and stuff, especially like they end up putting like 25, 30,000, 40,000 over sticker on stuff. So be careful. But if they were trying to like fuck me over on like $30,000 over sticker, I wouldn't have got the car because screw that shit. 30,000. That's a decent bag, man. I could just put that bag into. I could buy like some Kusama, some Dot, leave it there. I could literally put that into Litecoin, play the Litecoin halving, or literally 35,000 is a bag. I mean, seriously and stuff. I mean, a lot of people in Hex made their bag off of just that. Yep. That's enough. That was enough. But hey, anyway, let's keep going.
To 14, you'll be one of our keynote speakers.
I came last year and it was great. So
it's a wonderfully huge event. We've got Patrick McHenry, the chair of the House Financial Services Committee, who's a huge crypto fan. And we've also got, on the flip side, the head of SEC's crypto enforcement division.
Don't put us on the same day.
So
I'm a little bit afraid. Yeah. Is it like, isn't it a little bit scary? Not for you, but maybe for a regular financial advisor to even have public opinions on crypto right now?
No, it's not. It's only if your public opinions are uninformed.
If you're like,
woo, aren't you afraid of talking about crypto? Isn't it dangerous and stuff? Only if you're uninformed and stuff like, dang, that was tough.
You listen to the uninformed, like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler and stuff, and they just sound like retards. So yeah, if you don't know what you're talking about, you try to do it, you're going to look like a fool for the people that know.
Exactly.
Regular financial advisor to even have public opinions on crypto right now?
No, it's not. It's only if your public opinions are uninformed.
Or if you're like shilling a coin or something.
Yeah, if you're saying and doing stupid things, the same thing would be true in the stock market.
That's right.
You doing a pump and dump scheme on a penny stock,
right?
That's very different from recommending the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what you're saying, what you should deserve to go to jail. On the other hand, if you fail to do it right, you're doing yourself, your practice, your clients a huge disservice. And what we teach is how to get it right without ever recommending Bitcoin. Do you understand what the tax rules are? Are you helping your client with the estate planning, with helping them understand the portfolio allocation and investment thesis? It begins with a very simple premise. Your clients own crypto. Many advisors
You really
are
feel that way?
they're in denial about this.
Do you really feel that the typical advisor?
Right. This is such an important part right here because he's going to put these. He's going to give him a little bit of a whipping because this guy really knows the industry and stuff. I mean, this guy they just admitted in the beginning of the video that they copied their entire business model and everything off this guy's business model. Like they modeled their stuff right here just off of him. But yeah, this is a pretty significant thing. I think that this is kind of a very like sobering. I mean, I really like the guys at the compound. This is not trash on the compound, guys, but this is kind of the bit of the whipping. A lot of these guys need to get and stuff is like this blatant disrespect for the newest like asset class. It's kind of insane that they're still talking about like this, and it's just, I mean, these extras guys have just turned into fucking boomers. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, they missed the opportunity, and you know. They didn't take it seriously, and by the time they start taking it seriously, they're in denial. Like I've seen this before in crypto Twitter. There's been people who are like, you know, they've been in denial so long and been proven wrong so long that they just, you know, fail. Just ego wise, they can't ever drop it. You know, it's like they care more about how people perceive them than the actual money in their pocket, right?
Right. It's kind of crazy, like the way, like I literally think of Jurassic Park right now in terms of like, you know, John Hammond is in the boardroom, right, and he brought all these people to like these are the people that are supposed to help us out to get crypto out to the masses, and then the blood sucking lawyers are the only one on my side.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, I brought you to defend me from this, and the only one on my side is the goddamn blood-sucking lawyer. and if you look at it, right, I mean, whether you want to put us on the low end, right, like let's just say we're the low end, the dum-dums on the bell curve, and that guy is on the right-hand side. He's the smartest guy, right? These guys are in the middle getting fucked. Yeah. And who makes all the money? Dumb guys and the smart guys, or the risk takers and the rich guy. I mean, but you think about it, look at how rich this guy is: $300 billion under management, and he's out here like taking these. The reason he's worth $300 billion is because of that mentality.
Yes. He takes shots.
He takes shots, man.
Has a lot of clients who own crypto.
I'll make a bet with you.
Okay.
A third of your clients own Bitcoin.
Wow.
Did we do a survey?
I was going to throw out 20%, a third.
And the reason I say that is nationally, 22% of adults in the US. Now, we know that the people who are buying crypto tend to be more affluent. They have the money to invest. And
sheesh, out the boys. But this is kind of true. Like, I mean, everyone can buy crypto, but typically you start looking at investments once you start making some change, a little bit.
Yeah,
like I got a little extra.
You'll put like some side change into it, and like he's not taking into account like, you know, people who bought Shiba Inu on eToro or Robinhood, you know, which rightfully is fine to not include that, you know, just because they're not holding their keys there, right? They're just kind of, you know, degenerate betting without actually owning their keys. But anyways, like, yeah, it's interesting to hear kind of the stats on that, you know.
And also think about this, that when you're an asset manager, the typical person is like, you're talking about someone typically wealthy or doing very well. So you're talking about upper middle class and higher and stuff. So this is already a smaller portion of the population that he's talking about. But think about that. So if let's just say it's 5% of the population, and then it's a third of that maybe, then this is kind of makes sense some of the numbers wise of like where we're getting, where we got the 4.5% of the population's touch crypto for a second. But there was probably like of that, 1% of them were very affluent and holding a majority of the crypto and stuff. Because no matter what, you can't really escape kind of law of money. People who are rich, if they just move over to another asset class, they're rich in that asset class as well and stuff. Yeah. But it doesn't mean you can't ascend, because then their money kind of trickles down and kind of raises you up as well and stuff. So if you're able to catch on to trends before them and stuff. So yeah, it pays to be early and first and paying attention, you know?
Yep.
About 20%, a third.
And the reason I say that is nationally, 22% of adults in the US. Now, we know that the people who are buying crypto tend to be more affluent. They have the money to invest, and you deal with affluent people. And so your clients, who are often being inspired by their children, are having an exposure to Bitcoin. It might not be a lot, but they have an exposure. And if you aren't talking to them about the record keeping, the tax implications, tax reporting, if you aren't helping them avoid the scams and the frauds, of which we know there are lots.
Yeah, that alone is a service to clients.
Right.
If they bring something to you, to be able to either rip it apart or say, okay, I'll sign off on it, but here's the amount you should do it in.
And for example, how to avoid the FTXs of the world. Or for example, did you realize, most advisors don't know this, that
By the
Bitcoin
way,
is not subject to the wash sale rule,
Miguel,
which means
I don't know. There might be this one course out there where nobody put money into FTX. And also a lot of people were able to get out of Celsius before that collapsed. I forgot which course that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Solana as well. Or Luna as well. Yeah,
Taking
a lot of
profits
that.
on Luna at $90. Yeah.
And I'm happy to say I said Voyager was trash from the beginning.
Exactly.
I never put one filthy muggle peso in any of these things. And these was actually, if you go back to some of my recordings, there was huge concerns I actually had about Luna. I said I felt that this was going to implode. Like I said that I forgot. I don't remember what quarter. Do we talked
about it? It was I remember we talked about it sometime between September to November of 2021. I remember that. And then we talked about the death spiral possibility. I think it was like around September. It might have even been as early as August of 2021, but it was probably August to September at that time. I remember us talking about it. And then also then it was late December of 2021, where I was like, it's passing $87. We're on a 6X from $15 or more. Basically time to take profits, and GTFO, and you also got kind of those feelings about it that was just kind of like peaking out and kind of just, the roller coaster at the top of the curve just before the whole thing's about to, go the other way, right?
Because we started seeing smoke, and then we really started seeing smoke. But the thing is like sometimes you do you buy coins just to get the pump and get the hell out, right? Yeah. But I think when we were talking about this, I think Luna was it Luna? Yeah, Luna was at $7. I personally didn't even get into it until it was like $14, and then it pumped up to 84. And I felt in my heart it was going to go to 140, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trust my gut on this. This feels bad, and I told everyone, "Yo, I'm selling. Let's get the hell out of this." This is starting to, and I was actually very shocked with Luna and stuff. I thought I thought it was gonna take 3 months for it to die. Plus, no, oh no.
Yeah, well, I was once it started dying, I was like, "Ooh, this is not looking good," right? And then I remember I was like, there was just like basically I had a moon bag that I just left there. I was like, yeah, I'll take it out if it crashes below a certain point, right?
Right.
Like once it got to that point, the acceleration rate was amazingly fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like because I saw it go from I think 120, 140 was the top. It crashed down to $20. So I threw a very small amount of it in $20, and then it was just free falling. There was no like resist. It wouldn't bounce on any zones. I was like, so I sold it right away. I took a very small loss, very small. Like it was like a small DCA. Sold it off, and I was like, oh shit, this shit's crashing bad. And then I was like, fuck, I'll try again at $1. And it was like, whoa, and boom, and it's still falling. I was like, oh no, this shit's dead. Fuck this.
Yeah, I didn't even after it started going below like 30, 40. I'm like, just because it was looking real nasty. But like, I mean, we made the money that we made, and we got out, and all's well.
All's well, man. But hey, man, that's the market and stuff. So let's get into it.
And for example, how to avoid the FTXs of the world. Or for example, did you realize most advisors don't know that?
But this is very important, you guys. We've talked about this in the crypto mindset course a lot and stuff, especially this crypto mindset course. We'll be having Steve from accounting. We're going to be doing a whole webinar on taxes, on crypto taxes and stuff. Very few people talk about crypto taxes. Shout out to this guy. This is actually people don't know about the wash rule, the wash sale rule. So listen up. Big tax moment, big major key.
That Bitcoin is not subject to the wash sale rule, which means you could, last year when Bitcoin was down 70%, you could tell your client to sell it, immediately rebuy it, preserve the allocation while capturing the tax loss. Think of the value add you're giving your client without ever having anything to do with whether you're telling them to buy it or not.
I think the reason why advisors don't speak to this, and this goes to your vision and the what's it, DAC FP, is because advisors never want to be in a position of embarrassing themselves in front of a client.
Yes.
Looking like they don't know and are not professionals and are not knowledgeable.
Right.
So that's why there's such a
That's why there's crypto mindset.
Well, that's why Steve from accounting took the crypto mindset, right? Because he knew, right? He was like, this industry is really interesting, got into it, made some money, and then was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm a tax professional. There's not very good information here. I'll apply it towards that. And he took the route that basically Edelman here is talking about, which is educate yourself, understand, be competent enough in it so that when your clients around, a certain area are asking about it, you can explain it, or when family members are, or when friends are, or when colleagues are, right? So the more subjects, right, that you're generally competent about, the more interesting you will be as well as a person overall.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like you just out of nowhere, like you're out at a bar or something, you just start hitting the piano, you start doing ragtime. It makes you more interesting. It's like, damn, you pick up these skills by doing these side quests. But let me tell you this. I haven't met a single person who has taken the course that hasn't improved their life in terms of, like, with all the information that they're learning and stuff. You become a more competent person in something that when you can be like a matter subject in a group or something, people respect you a lot more. If they really do. And it puts you into rooms or in conversations where maybe you would have felt like kind of out of place. And because you're spitting all this game and stuff like that, you get an opportunity, you get an invite to another party, and I'm talking on the social side, not even talking about the financial side. I'm just talking about the social side and stuff. And it's like, all right, Charlie, yeah, come through, bro, and come through the party. Last minute, having a conversation with somebody, you guys vibe and shit. Hey, well, anyway, dude, I'm throwing a party over here. If you want to join me next Saturday and shit, yeah, for sure, man. I'll show. Boom, that puts you in a room with other people you wouldn't have probably met at all. Yep. And who the hell knows what happens from there. This is how, like, networking happens. And you do it from, obviously, don't be a total turbo dork.
You know that meme or whatever where the guy has like the dunce cap on, he's like, they don't know I'm like, what was holding whatever, like Billy and Luna or whatever the fuck it is.
they don't know I'm an Icosa whale. They don't know, bro. Right, like, fuck, right. I don't care, bro. So am I. I don't care. They don't know I'm a dolphin in Icosa, bro. They don't know, bro. They don't get it. Oh, fucking sloth. Anyway, but yeah, man. And then, but this information puts you in a, like, look, if you look now in the financial sense, right? If you're a financial advisor, you learn about crypto, you take the course once, you kind of get your bearings, you know how to move wallets and stuff. You're already so above look at this. These guys are like young dudes. They're on the market. They have a fucking live podcast, and they're still a little iffy about not the guy in the middle there, but like the other two are still a little iffy. They're not 100% on board with crypto yet, but they're talking about it now. Where they're the ones in it. These guys are, these are like 1%ers in terms of these guys. All these guys on the table are like 1%ers when it comes to like financial advisors, right? Now imagine this. You end up putting yourself on that same table because you can specialize yourself in, like, oh yeah, I'm a financial advisor with crypto, or I'm a tax guy and I know about crypto. If you're doing taxes right now and you learn about crypto and you can start handling stuff for Coinly and stuff for people, Jesus, dude. I mean, you literally like you would literally make yourself a 20-year career that, because you push yourself, you become a fraction of a 1%er in the industry.
Easy, right? And like if you start, just kind of looking at, how good you are in terms of your crypto skill right now, right? Yeah. Just try to imagine when you're listening to this interview, could I basically kind of not the fatter guy, the guy with the blonde hair that was asking the questions?
Yeah.
Could you, without hearing what Edelman is saying here, could you refute his points by yourself, right? Like pause the video sometimes, like not when we're on live here, but out on the replay or something. Pause before you hear one of the answers to see, like, okay, what would I say, right? And you might be surprised. I think a lot of people who've taken the crypto mindset course might not be a surprise to them, but might surprise themselves that actually most of the information, right? I mean, we would run circles around these guys if we were at the table, and I think a lot of the people in the course who've taken multiple
in terms of crypto and stuff.
That's
like that.
What I mean.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's what you were saying, right? You get a spot at the table and be an expert in something. And here's the thing: you guys can be better experts than people who have $300 billion in the space of crypto, right? Look at Suzu and Kyle Davies, right? Of 3 Arrows Capital. They had a multi-billion-dollar organization that went to zero, right? Essentially. And you have the chance to do better in the market than those guys. So don't let people tell you that everybody who has a lot of money is going to always be smarter than you, right? It's not about how much you've accumulated. It's about, what, like the things you've done to accumulate in terms of, like, this guy took a lot of different shots that were probably genius moves or extremely smart, right, into traditional markets. And so if he applies that towards crypto, he'll eventually find that too. But all I'm trying to say is like, I think a lot of people sometimes when they're still starting out, oh, you know, I only got like a $10,000 portfolio or whatever. Those guys sometimes I think don't know how far they can take themselves. They can like their portfolio will take a certain level, right? It'll take time, but your knowledge portfolio you can gain so high that then this actual portfolio, you know, will continue to grow in the right way. And you know, they're both are exponential things that you need to always continue to be compounding together. But I just want that the guys to know that, because yeah, I don't know of any other crypto education course in the world that gives as much detailed information as we do.
Now, I will say this for anyone. I've got some watchers right now watching me on Twitter, man. I'm going to turn the Twitter stream off right now. So come join me. I put the link right now in the Twitter in the comment section below and stuff. So click there and watch over here on the live stream and stuff. Appreciate it. And remove, and it's gone. Rug. Watch I rug the stream. It's over.
All right, crypto Twitter. It's crypto YouTube's taking over. That's just what it is.
Look at me. This is my stream now.
This is our social media market now.
Right, but honestly, like most of you guys could probably sit at this table and probably conversate on the same level as these guys within 1 or 2 courses, and now obviously not on the stock side and stuff, but unless you're a stock guy already, but that's the power of it. Like, you know, like most people, if you catch the average guy on the New York street and stuff, and that's saying much, but the average guy in New York and stuff, or the average guy in Los Angeles, or the average guy anywhere around the world, they hear this and they're just like blinking with like both eyes wide open and stuff, going like, what are they? These guys are super advanced, and we're over here sitting like Tuesday. Yeah.
Well, Sunday.
And that's the power. And that's also what helps you not get fucking honey-dicked and tricked into stuff as well and stuff. It's all that right there, man. That's the power, man. And I'm sorry to Hedron and to Icos. I'm sorry, forgive me. No, but the shout out to you, man. I wanted to just highlight one comment real quickly, just because I thought this was so cool. Crypto compassion, man. Your network is your net worth. Boom, right? Definitely, man. And then what we're talking about here is you can mix in so many things. Just having that, like, even if like you're in a trade job or your office job, like just having that crypto thing, especially around coworkers and stuff, it can make you very. Screw the money side. Just the social side of it is insane, because maybe you're a fucking boss that's a higher than you, or like the couple guys that hire you and stuff. You start talking crypto with them or something like that. That puts you in the line to get maybe a promotion, or you're not going to be fired. I mean, for your homies I'm telling you, like there's a lot of just social and even economical things that you can do to position yourself in a much better position, because now they look at you like, oh, this guy's stupid. You humanize yourself as well to people. And so, but I'll stop preaching on that and stuff. And I want to just shout out to one more person. He paid for the course by selling Bitcoin, by selling stocks, man. Shout out to you, dude. Nice. Yeah, man. That's what I'm telling you, man. Shout out to you, man. So let's continue.
Earlier. I think, no, we're good. Yeah.
Go back a little bit. There we go. Yeah. So just to let you know, so I think he has a little bit of crypto, but he's kind of negative on it in terms of like he basically he won't turn really positive on crypto until Coinbase starts doing pretty good, the stock. This guy's fully into crypto and stuff. He's kind of like he's like the most to us and stuff. He like a good Knicks fan, but most like and he's a TGI Fridays sign, lol. But basically, this guy's a lot more warmer on crypto. He believes in it truly and stuff like that. But he's not like 100% degenerate with it. And then the other guy, I think, probably has some Bitcoin. That's it. So yeah.
Yes.
Looking like they don't know and are not professionals and are not knowledgeable.
Right.
So that's why there's there's a huge gap of education.
You're absolutely right. The problem is that crypto grew up outside of Wall Street.
Right.
So firms have no internal institutional knowledge. There's nobody on staff who can provide crypto training. And because of the uncertainty in a regulatory environment, they don't know if they want to recommend crypto or make it available. So their attitude is, don't talk about it. How does that serve the client?
Yeah.
Therefore, we focus on education. I don't care whether you like it or not. I don't care if you recommend it or not. I put it in the category kind of like annuities. We all have strong opinions about annuities, love them or hate them. But
not as strong as Ken, but yeah.
Even if you hate annuities, you understand the tax rules. You understand how they work. You know the difference between an owner and a beneficiary. You can talk intelligently to your client. I'm simply saying you should be able to do the same thing with crypto.
Do you see an ebb and flow.
And this is kind of to like their later conversation that's so true is like, yeah, I mean, we just needed like the problem with the crypto space right now is that they're not giving us any there's no rules. It's all opaque right now. And intentionally, you know, at the SEC, there's a whole movement. Can you imagine how bad you have to fuck up? I've never in my whole life I've heard of any chair of the SEC being with a petition in Congress to get them fired. Yeah. I cannot think of it. Maybe some of them have decided just to, you know what, I'm gonna retire off because they're probably gonna come after me or something. But I've never heard it is like to this is so egregious. This is to the level of like Nixon. Yeah. Like it's that bad. The man took us off the gold standard. You know what I'm saying? Like egregious and doing a bunch of illegal stuff and everything like that. That's insane. And we just want to know the rules. But if I'm being honest as well, we also need some rules to protect and enhance the industry as well as some subsidies. You're giving subsidies to everything else. There has to be some subsidies in order to protect the U.S. home front when it comes to the crypto industry and stuff. I mean, they gave a little bit to the Bitcoin miners, but there's no more Ethereum miners anymore. So it's the mining industry is a dying industry, you know. So yeah.
Advisor interest in your programs with the prices like retail, where more advisors become more interested in learning about it when the prices are up and less when it's down?
There's always that behavioral finance mistake that people make. But what is fascinating to me that I wouldn't have guessed, Ben, having watched Bitcoin drop 70% in 2022, I would have thought interest across the board would have dropped. It didn't. The number of consumers who own Bitcoin rose. The number of advisors who own it rose. We're now at the point where, according to the last survey I saw, 47% of financial advisors, nearly half, personally own Bitcoin.
That I would believe.
Yeah. But only 12%
finance adjacent, and they're all exposed to, you know, Wall Street Journal stories on.
So this is a big thing of like, do what I say now as I do, but some of them are like want to tell their clients, but they're afraid. Yeah. And
they're afraid to be judged.
They're afraid to be judged and stuff because I mean they do have them on this thing of like what did you do for me recently? What did you? And this is something like even Warren Buffett has talked about. And we got to stop rating people on this quarterly crap, and it's got to be more maybe like twice a year. And like I can actually see that that is a big problem in stock market as well. Is that what's the quarterly earnings report? What's the quarterly earnings report? And I think if we changed the mentality of the stock market to every 6 months, I think we would get a little bit more long-term thinking, and we'd get corporations taking a little more shots on stuff. But yeah, because there's a lot of things in corporate America that they're not willing to do because they're so afraid of fucking up the numbers for the quarter that they won't take shots and stuff. This is why like the most innovative companies, I mean, they're willing to do all that. That's why the stocks are so sporadic and stuff, but then they get these huge outside gains. There's a lot of these other corporations who could have been in that position, but they just won't take the shots anymore. You know? Yeah,
well, that's why everybody's looking at Michael Saylor like he's freaking insane. But if you listen to the stream we had yesterday on this channel, right, you come to the conclusion it's pretty actually reasonable.
I mean, let's listen to what Michael Saylor has to say. Right? Let's see. I want to hear what Michael Saylor has to say. Right?
Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best, okay? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin. Then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business that's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
Reasonable. Like I said, reasonable.
You know, as time goes on, this man seems less crazy to me.
It's just like you gotta go back and watch that stream from yesterday if you don't want to know what we're talking about there.
Right, but I want to highlight one quick thing. So shout out to you, man. My best friend is a CFA, and his company won't let them talk about crypto to his client. Meanwhile, the firm is buying up Bitcoin like a madman. And why is that? Because if they're getting their bags first, so their clients can pump their bags.
Yep.
Look, I don't see how it's possible by 2025 we don't hit like $100,000 Bitcoin plus. us.
Well, you know, the
right?
funny thing is that Bitcoin's a large enough asset right now that, you know, they think like that. And that's just because they're of a little bit of a scarcity mindset, you know, and they know how that stuff works. But it's like, you know, go do that with a shitcoin or something. You know, doing that with Bitcoin's not going to have the effect that they think it will for the most part. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, depending on how much, if they're that $300 billion client, might be a little different story.
Now we have somebody in the chat saying they're going to start their own crypto course for only chicks. And King of Jacks just said, if your students are anything like the FNF chicks, you're in for quite the classes.
Yeah, well, there will be the have yachts and have nots, and I guess that'll be interesting. But
I would, if I was going down that lane, right? This is some free advice here. If I was going down that lane, I would do some sort of, I'd mix it with astrology.
Sure. Well, what's her name? Maven, I think. There's that lady on Twitter.
Yeah. There's like a witch chick. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name? It's with an M.
It was Maven or Maxon or something like that. But she does that, right? She's like, oh, the moon phase is this on, and like overlays it to the chart. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, God help us all.
There was this guy in the Hex community. I thought he was a good guy and stuff. Some people didn't like him, but I told him some advice right here. If he had followed it, I would have made him a multi-millionaire. Good texture, right? I told him, dude, you're really good at talking. You're really good at talking and stuff. You're a good talker, but like but you're a little too divisive sometimes, and you probably, you know, you kind of like can shoot yourself in the foot sometimes. I was like, bro, go do. You're already into all this energy shit. Go be like a male astrologer, bro. You kill it, bro. You like, I've seen how these astrology do. Now, look, it's a grift. I know it is a grift. Okay, I know that. But but it's such a fucking open lane, dude. You
remember the tarot card guy that I told you about?
Yes.
I had a consultation once with this guy, right? And he was like, "Bro, I'm kind of pigeonholed." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he was like, "I got a 400,000 sub YouTube channel." I'm like, "Oh, that's great." He's like, "Yeah, but there's a problem." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" He's like, "I read tarot cards." I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I read tarot cards. He's like, I grew the channel thinking I could pivot later, and like I found out I can't. I have to start over from zero again. And he's just like, I was like, oh my god, bro, this is such a big L. So it's like, you know, I personally would not advise that. But hey, if you want to lose part of your soul and you know, do astrology for men, go for it. I think that was like Gary the numbers guy or something like that. There was a guy like that on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I'm this is free sauce right here. I ain't doing it, but like this is free sauce. It's a grift, 100%. But chicks, like, everyone's right though. Like, chicks are in love with astrology. I don't know what it is.
For chicks, great. I was just saying the astrology for men part. I was like, yeah, you know,
but yeah. But if they'll eat that shit up. But if you're a male astrologer, half decent look, because half these dudes are like, dude, these guys.
Oh, you're talking about male astrologer, not astrology for men.
No. Well, you can do unisex and stuff, of course, but you can lean towards the female side, and you get more. It's dominated by that. But basically, you're a half decent looking, good looking dude. You do astrology. My God, up to your eyeballs and fucking, oh my God, like I'm like it's. I would say it's on par to being a fucking male nurse. Jesus, dude. I mean, just the amount of. Yo, if oh my God. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, let's just keep going on. But anyway, that's $1 million. That's literally $1 million, multi-million-dollar business that you could build in a year or two. Like,
Casey Smith doesn't have a bad idea. Just make astrology coins and then just get them popular among you know, female communities. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more doable. You know,
that's a little more doable. Oh fuck, man!
They're clearly meme coins, or they should be, right?
The coin changes phases and stuff and everything. It's like, oh no, we're in retrograde right now. Fuck. Anyways, let's go on. My bad.
I think we're 6 minutes through this video now.
I ain't gonna lie though, that also was probably $1 billion. If some is also like, this is so sad about crypto. Just don't rug a coin. And the coin can do, like, just be an honest person, build a good project, just keep trying. And God damn it, I don't know how you don't succeed. Like, there's this industry is full of such good people, but such stupid people, so stupid. There's been so much wasted talent. There's been dudes that could have really they went for the easy, fast money. It gets hard, right? You make a token or a project and it gets hard, and then they just fuck off and leave, right? Like, if you just kept with it, they would be in some fucking stratospheric place.
But instead,
Idiots.
they're crawling back to their old companies on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well,
Because once you get that fast money and spend it, it's hard to come back.
yeah, that's true, man. Well, anyway, you guys, let's get going.
Half personally own Bitcoin,
That I would believe.
Yeah.
but
because
only
it's
12%.
finance adjacent, and they're all exposed to, Wall Street Journal stories on Bitcoin. Like
Yes.
that I totally would
But the
believe.
problem, Josh, is that only 12% are talking about it with clients.
Mm.
I think there's a problem from a practice management perspective. If I was your client and you didn't tell me you were buying it, I got to wonder, what else are you not telling me?
Well, as long as I wasn't buying it at 70,000, probably. But where do you think the hurdle is? The lack of education or the fear of regulatory? Like what?
Both.
Okay, but
Both.
like which one you think weighs heavier on a typical RIA representative? I think it's the regulatory.
Well, and the reason that RIAs feel that way is lack of education, because they feel that the regulations don't let them. They're wrong. They don't understand the state of regulatory status in the United States, and they fail to understand that there are plenty of rules in compliant way.
Is the best thing to tell people just treat it like a security, whether it is or not?
Correct.
Okay. So I remember you saying that a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
I feel like if you had been doing that for the last few years, it's probably has been the right approach. Like whether it becomes a security or it doesn't, or they fight this out for another 5 years, just pretend that it is
And in
stay
fact,
on the safe side.
the best way to invest is via a security. For example, don't buy Bitcoin directly. Invest in a fund that buys Bitcoin, or invest in a crypto ETF, which invests in publicly traded.
I don't know about all that, G. I don't know about all that right
Here's
there,
the
bro.
thing. He's used to everybody else holding the keys, right? So he's
Yeah,
not
I'm-
self-custody. He's not DeFi native.
Yeah.
You can't.
We got to give him rope here. We got to give him rope here. This is impressive. This is impressive right now. Like I'm very impressed from this guy, but you're right. Like we have to give him a little leeway here. You're right. Like he's used to that. And then on top of that, it's because his business is so old already in terms of like all and that much money around. He has to do everything very, 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 very by the book in terms of that. So he has to funnel them into products where like the funnel into actual real products and stuff. So the ETF and plus anyway, I totally agree with him with the ETF because we do need a spot ETF. That would help the price out, even though it's being held in that. It just is what it is. But a lot of these guys who have a lot of wealth and stuff, they feel a lot safer doing that and stuff. And then I think over a long period of time, eventually we'll just be going to holding crypto in a smart contract wallet with permissions and stuff, and instead of like these ETF entities and stuff. But yeah, that's right, man. At one point, legacy side Hex Investment Trust. Maybe one day, yeah. Seriously, shout out to Kinetics and RG.
Traded stocks that are companies building the technology.
You prefer that approach to direct ownership in the coins themselves?
Well, I believe in diversification, so I believe in doing all the above.
Okay.
Wouldn't the
Got it.
Bitcoin ETF make it so much easier for advisors, though? I know they have the
Yes.
futures one, but if they had an
Yes.
ETF tomorrow, wouldn't advisors say, all right, the gray area here is done. There's a Bitcoin ETF. It tracks, it holds Bitcoin.
Correct. 75% of advisors say they're waiting for that Bitcoin ETF, and the SEC under Gensler continues to refuse to allow it. And the problem is, by the time the SEC says yes, what will the price of Bitcoin be? You might have missed out. I think you will miss out on a massive wealth creation opportunity.
Do people?
Woo! Woo-hoo!
And no,
That-
that's all you need to know. Like right there.
Right there.
Once he knows that, like, he's off to the races, right?
This man didn't get. This man got the 300 billion for a reason, man.
Yep.
Straight up, dude. Damn, that was sauce. He said right now that by the time they're lagging out this Bitcoin ETF, that by the time they end up releasing it, they've already missed out on so much of the easy gains and stuff that like they'll still make money off of it, but that life-changing money might not be there as quickly, basically.
Well, think about it this way, right? Of the 4-year cycle, we have 4 years, right? So we have 2023, 2024, 25, 26. 26 is the bad year, right? 23 is the boring year, but 24 is the year where it starts to get heated. He's talking about people who are going to come in late 24. Let's just as an example, if we had the ETF by then, which we're not going to have it anywhere this year. It's probably not going to happen before the election either. So, they'll be having to buy above $100,000 Bitcoin. That's for them, missing a Forex is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, missing a Forex is massive anyways, but yeah.
But it could, but it's to tell you the truth, what happened, but like, look at this. If they launch the Bitcoin ETF, let's just say, like, okay, I'll be as bullish as possible. Let's just say we're at $130,000 Bitcoin. Then Gensler's out of here by the end of the year. I'm not saying for this year, but like sometime in late 24, 25, we have $100,000 Bitcoin. And then in the summer, the blockbuster, they unlock the spot ETF and they start allowing spot ETFs. Fuck, that'll drive us to 500,000. It won't.
Yeah,
everyone's going to get
unicorn. That's been the unicorn that's dancing around for a while. But at the same time, like
it's not wrong though.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, in terms of when it will happen, right?
Right. So it's all depends. I believe we have more of a chance under maybe Trump. I will say this: when Trump gets into office, he's probably going to enact some shit we don't like for crypto. I'm just being honest. It doesn't matter. They all will. Okay, but we're more likely to have like the ETF just allowed to come out just because Trump usually stays out of all that stuff anyway. He likes a little more in the free market side. But Gensler will be out of here. Then they'll appoint a new person, and then that'll be allowed to happen. All that happens after the elections, so that's going to be in 25 at the earliest. I could see it happening. If it happens earlier, beautiful. Like if it happens while Bitcoin's still under 100,000, it'll push us over 100 very easily. But if we're already at 150,000, it's going to push us into a couple. It pushes in the $500,000 Bitcoin range, and the big honey dick here is it's not going to go to $1 million. It'll crash then after that, right? So be warned. It's not like I'd rather you guys take profits at like fucking 500,000 than gamble at $1 million, because at $1 million, where's it going to go from there? It's not going to go to 2 million, right? Like you think about it, like for most of these guys, the fastest guys get in at 150. But the slower guys are going to get at $250,000. They'll get a 2x. This is incredible. And then we've been buying since 15,000. 50. I don't know. Let me bring out the old calculator for a second, right?
Well, we've been buying since 3,100, but the Moon Gang, right?
3,300 here, so you don't got to gloat on me. But all right.
Well, 3,127 cents, but yeah.
Who's counting, right? But all right, let's just say you guys bought at 20. All right, let's just say I'm gonna do this math. 500,000 divided by 20,000. 25x. So at most, these guys who get into the ETF, they would be at maximum of 3.5x. You're up 25 times their gains.
And you don't have to be a billionaire, right? You don't have to, all you need is a fucking internet connection and a willingness to learn.
Yeah. Now, Crypto Keeper, man, as of 4/22, 24 people use Pulse Chain Network, use Ethereum Network same day, which, yeah, it's very bullish. No, definitely. No, shout out to, dude, Pulse Chain is going to be successful, I believe. I really believe it's going to be used a lot.
Well, it's already 5%.
Yeah, it's insane. And then the thing is, most people don't want to deal with the not the dealership, but the validator thing right now. So I think there's like 5,000 validators right now and stuff. So we might have, I said this already, 12,000 to 14,000 is probably going to be the number, maybe 15,000 validators. At some point, the yield will get lower enough where some guys, I don't want to deal with it. Who cares? But some people there's a multiple strategy. If you have a ton of, I think, suppose you can have 10 to 20 validators on a decent computer or a laptop, you can run that many validators. Hey, you might, instead of the APR being 3%, you might have 10%. So it might be worth it at that point. But you're locking up, let's say, at least with 10 validators or 10 validators or 20 validators, you're locking up a minimum of like 640 million or billion, million Pulse Chain. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, because it's 32 million minimum. Yeah. But that just is what it is and stuff. And we'll be talking about all this validator stuff and numbers and stuff. We have the charts and all that stuff during the Pulse Chain stuff. We'll talk about whether you want to be a validator or not be a validator. We'll talk about that and stuff during the course and stuff. So we got all that jazz there, so don't worry. But let me say this right here. Crypto compassion, man. Shout out to you, man. $500,000 Bitcoin's going to suck for the RH ecosystem. No, it's not. It's awesome for everybody.
Exactly.
Because it's trickle-down economics, dude. Bitcoin shoots up. Ethereum shoots up. Ethereum makes the L1 shoot up. The ecosystem shoot up. Shitcoin, meme coins go. Dude, we're going to be balling, bro. Out of fucking control, dude. You give me a $500,000 Bitcoin, bro. Oh, my God. I couldn't imagine I can't imagine there's anything on this planet I couldn't buy. I really cannot.
Let's do a little moon math. right? So I did a calculation because gold's market cap is around $13 trillion.
Okay.
Bitcoin's is half a trillion.
Yeah.
If Bitcoin gets on par with gold at some point in the next decade, right? At 13 trillion, of course, the market caps will change, but let's say at 13 trillion, right? Then that means Bitcoin's going to be about $700,000, plus or minus 50 or something like that. So not too bad, right? And if Bitcoin at that point, right, is let's say $700,000 and 13 trillion, and that 13 trillion is what, like 20% of the market, let's say, just it's going to be lower than the dominance is now, right? At that point, but it could even be down to like 5 or 10% dominance of the market. But if let's say it's 10% dominance, just for easy, numbers, right? $13 trillion being 10% of the market means, right, 10x from that, right? Which is over $100 trillion, $130 trillion. So, and that's where Kevin O'Leary talks about it as being the 12th sector of the S&P. And this is where maybe we are around the year 2029, right? And then where, with market cap being like that in crypto and Hex still surviving and Pulse Chain thriving, then plug that, how much do you think Pulse Chain will be a part of the overall, crypto ecosystem? And if it has, even a 1% of that, it's going to do just fine.
Now, I saw this narrative. I'll say this about Pulse Chain and Hex and all this stuff. I heard this whole narrative is like, do you really believe that Pulse Chain will be able to help out Ethereum with its gas fees? Fuck no. No. Let me tell you why. Because we will be onboarding a lot of people over here to the Pulse Chain network and stuff. But what will happen is anytime you have extra throughput, it will refill back up because there's so much demand and price and stuff like that. So the thing is like, even if we 10x the speed of Ethereum, then people would start putting more dumb stuff back on the main L1, and then from there they have to go back to the L2s and the adjacent L1s and stuff like that. So overall, a 10x increase in speed on Ethereum is still going to lower fees, but then what will end up happening is the fees will trend back upwards again. So it's always going to be slightly congested, but I think but the fees will be controlled until it will be more or less like managed and stuff over time and stuff. So, but still, it still is a good thing because you want higher fees on Ethereum because the higher fees end up putting it ends up pumping more money into L1s anyway, which is good for Pulse Chain. Now, the only time that this could possibly maybe change is if we got ZK rollups and then we finally got sharding on Ethereum, which is like basically it's like multiplying the amount of transactions on Ethereum by 100x plus. Then at that point you could probably have a crash on the L1s, but then what will happen is it'll start getting filled up again. Because then everyone's like, this is how the world's supposed to be. The world's so like finally Ethereum. This is like OG. Even we'll be like, whoa, this is like 2019, 2020 Ethereum. Wow, this is so cool. It's so fast and cheap. But then what'll happen is people put dumb trading bots and dumb this and dumb that and Let's put this. Let's do automatic mail on the blockchain. And they're like every dumb in the world with VC backing is going to they're trying to put everything on the fucking blockchain. Let's put Snapchat on the blockchain. Let's put Twitter on the blockchain. Let's put this on the blockchain. And then eventually it'll get filled up again. And then they'll crash down. And then in the bear market, things will even out after. So it's just the ebb and flow of everything. It's going to get completely better. But don't doubt humans' ability to just fill up the blocks with trash. Let me tell you this, like, Bitcoin Cash was primarily being used by some random company that was relaying like weather data to people, and it was like, dude, the Bitcoin Cash is fucking transactions, and Bitcoin Cash SV or Satoshi's Vision is like, look how busy the blockchain is, and it was one app just sending weather data, useless data, and they were like, look at the numbers, it's insane, wow, what are we gonna do in this world, bros?
Yeah, Craig rates Satoshi. Yeah.
Well, let's get back to it. Let's go back to that mic drop that this man just did.
ETF tomorrow. Wouldn't an advisor say, "All right, the gray area here is done. There's a Bitcoin ETF. It tracks. It holds Bitcoin."
Correct. 75% of advisors say they're waiting for that Bitcoin ETF, and the SEC under Gensler continues to refuse to allow it. And the problem is, by the time the SEC says yes, well, the price of Bitcoin be? You might have missed out. I think you will miss out on a massive wealth creation opportunity.
Do people ask you what you think the price of Bitcoin will be?
All
I know,
all the
'cause I
time.
know you don't give people stock market,
No, but I
direction.
do. I do say what I predict Bitcoin is going to be. I
Let's
believe that
hear
by
it.
summer of 25, Bitcoin will be 150,000.
Boom.
I like the look of disbelief on that guy's face. He's like, okay.
He's like, am I hearing you say that right now, bro? Like, it's like the balls on this guy, right? But like, even he believes in the summer of 25 we'll be at 150,000, bro.
not,
150,000.
not an unreasonable number whatsoever.
That's not like, as long as we don't get any weird thing with the economy crashing too early or nothing like that. Like, the top should be somewhere in the summer of 25, maybe early 25, maybe late 24, but still kind of fiddling along for a while. Because even if it tops out, you still like the market. Like, we were still making money. Like the market topped out in November. We were still making money in December, January, February, March for 4 extra months. It wasn't until March that the market was over at that point. But that's just to let you know. So even if it ends in 24, it'll still be somewhat into 25.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting looking at the chat because some people are like, "Oh my God, really?" Like, there's some people that like actually like are surprised to hear that, right? And it's like, there's a lot of people who are new to crypto in the last 1 year as well, who they just started seeing the bounces off the bottom right in January, February, and they're like, "Oh, now like they were understanding it and believing in it before, but now they really understand it a little bit better, right?" So yeah, it's not really until you experience a full bull market do you know what crypto is actually capable of.
Right. Now, Hex Bears right here. BTC all-time high will be 105. That's actually, yeah, it could totally, that'd be more of a limp dick, but hey, it can. But
I mean, it could die tomorrow and go to zero, like Peter Schiff says. But at the same time, what we know is reasonable and likely. I mean, above 100K is definitely going to happen. So, I think there's a lot of people. This is where I'm like, the narrative is going to be so good going into 24 and 25, which is all the people with throwing salt that are like, "Oh yeah, well everybody was saying it's going to go to 100K last time. Everybody's saying this and that," and then it crushes those goals, and they'll be like, "Oh," and by the time it does get past those numbers, they'll start believing again. They'll buy in, and then when are they buying in? 125K Bitcoin.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying about this for you guys, but like, because you guys are here right now, the 164 of you guys right now, hit the like button, you guys. But you guys are here right now. But the average guy won't even think about it until maybe like he might open his eye a little bit if it's 60,000. He'd be like, 60,000? It's still not past the all. Once it's 71,000, I really believe the number's 81,000. 81,000 is when all the Spurgs, bull market's back, baby. Alt season. Woo! It's like they're going crazy. $81,000 Bitcoin. What the hell have you been doing with the rest of the time before that? Like, this is what you put. Like, this is what we're saying when you like, time is your friend right now. DCA, Get these bags. Get in the crypto mindset. Get in these bags and stuff. Even this guy's realizing this stuff, and this guy's running like a $300 billion fucking fund. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to say how much Bitcoin he owns, but he's like, you think he doesn't own some like he doesn't own some $1 million of Bitcoin?
Yep. Well, remember, Robert.
I know you don't give.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, remember in the interview we had with Robert Kiyosaki? He's like, threw a few million down on Bitcoin, just some chump change.
Just some chump change, yeah.
This guy's got a good chunk,
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like, I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, like, I've seen him change his mind from Bitcoin when he didn't like Bitcoin too much to now he likes it. And like, he gave us a huge shout out, says we were the best, like we're the best crypto course in the world. He gave us that shout out. Like, he really did. We've done it. We've been on stream with Robert Kiyosaki. I think we're gonna do I think we have another one scheduled. I think later this year. I think me, you, Rolo, Gammon, and who else? I'm sorry,
Hartman.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, Harmon, and there's one other guy. I can't remember his name. But yeah, just basically all of us are going to do another group stream and stuff like that. I think Robert Kiyosaki is bringing some other guy, and he might bring on his real estate, his tax guy and stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be doing another stream with Robert Kiyosaki and them, and they're all in crypto and stuff. So it's just, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like the big money's getting in right now, and they're all like, you saw that half of advisors own crypto in some form, but they're not telling their clients. when they turn that key to tell the clients, it's off to the races.
People's stock market,
No, but
direction.
I do say what I predict Bitcoin is going to be. I believe
let's
that
hear
by
it.
summer of 25, Bitcoin will be 150,000.
Okay. What is that based on?
It's based on the halvenings, which occur every 4 years to the price.
Where
of-
they would they make it harder to mine, therefore more valuable?
Correct.
Okay.
The number of Bitcoins you receive as a reward for mining gets cut in half at roughly every 4 years.
Right.
And if you look historically at all the past halvenings and you look at the price of Bitcoin within 18 months of each one, that correlates to saying that Bitcoin is going to be in the 130 to 175,000 range summer of 25.
Rick, I've heard you talk about, for people that are curious, that do want exposure, that 1%, give or take, is the right number. What do you advocate? Not specific numbers, but for people that are like super bullish, like what's a reasonable place to be
Like an
Without-
like an upside limit?
without being irresponsible?
Okay.
It depends on how much money you're willing to lose and what your total net worth is. The more
Now, I agree with this guy for most of his points here, but there's a couple of little things that would change here and there and tweak and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
just
I was gonna say let him say it first, and then tell us what like sometimes a couple times in the video you're preempting what he says, and I'm trying to follow along with what you're saying. I'm like, oh, and then I hear what he's saying, then I understand what you said.
This is why I do this on my channel, because it's my reviews.
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying.
Oh no, I know what you're saying. But all right, fine.
risk you're willing to take and the more you're worth, a 20% allocation to crypto is not insane, but that's a pretty small population I just
Right,
described.
right,
Most people, I would never suggest that. I would say low single digits, 1, 2, 3% of the portfolio.
I think because people that aren't deeply familiar with it, in a 70% drawdown, they're gonna blow out.
That's when they'll lose faith
Right.
in it at the exact wrong time.
And that's why I want your allocation to be so low that you won't bother blowing it out when it's down.
Is this mostly about regret minimization? If you
Yes.
do 3% of your portfolio, your life will probably not be changed, even if Bitcoin goes to 150,000.
Correct.
But you will feel as though you got some of that upside and you were smart. And
It will materially improve your net worth. If you're a typical, 6-figure, 7-figure client, and you do have a 2 or 3% allocation, I believe that Bitcoin will materially improve your net worth in the future. But if it fails, it won't adversely harm your future financial security, which means the risk reward ratio is wonderful.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to invest. The way I phrase it is, if you do Bitcoin and it works, it'll materially help. But if you don't do it because you hate it or you dislike it or you are fearful of it or you are suspicious of the regulation and you do zero, you could be 100% wrong.
Well, I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, but that's why I initially bought, because if it went to $150,000 and I didn't own it, I would never forgive myself.
Yeah. We all remember the internet and we all missed it.
They all
big
missed it. But this is about they're talking more or less about a moon bag, basically, of having some exposure, but at the same time they don't want to get in too much trouble because the volatility, they'll look like geniuses when it pumps up, but then because they don't ever take profits too much or they don't sell, those drawdowns will end up really pissing the clients off and they'll lose a lot of their clients and stuff. So it's more or less about giving them enough exposure, because they're talking about very rich clients here. They're not talking about normal people. Like, they're talking about some pretty high level clients, and giving them that 3% exposure could give them an extra 30% to 60% increase in portfolio, which is gigantic on 3% on 3. Then they make a couple distributions here and there, even if they take, and then even if it crashes back down, they can show like, oh, this is where you're at now. Wow.
Yep.
And it protects you from the rope, because then there's going to be a lot of people. This is kind of what the Bitcoiners have been saying for a long time about you basically, it's about protecting their wealth. Like, a billionaire will probably get 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes to the moon and stuff, they're still rich. They're still a billionaire technically.
Right. And what he said earlier, the guy who's asking the questions, he was like, well, if they don't put enough in it, it's not going to change either way if it goes up or down. And he was like, well, no, because the upside is so great and the downside's limited. And that's what I think, a lot of these traditional guys try to poke like the pretty basic holes in crypto. And it's like he said at the very beginning, it just makes them look a little foolish. It's good that there's no dumb questions if you're truly wanting to know, but sometimes I would say he's obviously truly wanting to understand, but there are sometimes people in traditional markets asking those questions trying to fool people and flood the market as well.
Correct. Yeah. It's just, and then on top of that, they're used to such little small gains anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah.
They can't really understand it until they see it.
Well, let's not miss this one. This is Internet 3.0. Let's not miss this one.
Right. We're going to put a pin in the coin stuff. We're going to get to that later. But I wanted to ask you, just like your overarching take on the state of the advice business circa 2023, where do you think, how far do you feel that the profession has come since, let's say, the pre-pandemic days? I feel like things have accelerated and advisors have gotten much better at what they do. But maybe you have an alternate take.
Well, how do you define, Josh, gotten better?
More tech enabled, which enables them to do more for clients horizontally and to be able to take on more scale than they had been able to prior.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we're all aware that the pandemic forced us to adapt tech, and we have become more efficient by doing Zoom meetings instead of face-to-face. The tech environment has grown in quality and breadth of availability. So all that sure has improved practice management. But at the same time, I think that we have all become victims of that tech, and not just the tech, but the experience and data that the tech has contributed to. And what I'm referring to is the fact that when I first started, the 1980s, it was an incredibly divergent environment. There weren't very many advisors in the first place. In fact, when I started,
brokers.
Yeah, and
Right.
Just to give you a crazy statistic, when I started as an advisor, there were 400 mutual funds.
That's it.
And there was no such thing as an index fund,
Wow.
which means everybody was trying to pick literally the best performing, market outperforming strategies.
Out of 400.
Yeah. And so
So basically what he's trying to say here is in the 80s, they were doing a lot more stock picking.
Mm.
They were doing a lot more stock picking and stuff. And so some people were really overperforming and a lot of people were just underperforming, but because it was so difficult to know which indice to really track to be like the benchmark, a lot of people were getting away with stuff basically.
Yeah. Shout out Paul Tudor Jones, king of the 80s.
you couldn't find two advisors who did the same thing. Everybody was truly different. And as a result, the experience and the results were truly different.
When did like the term RIA even come into like passing? When was
Not
that?
until the late 90s.
Okay.
It became a thing where it became commonplace. You fast forward to today, and what do we have? Everybody's now an RIA. They're not brokers. We're fee-based, not commission-based. And most importantly, we now have decades of data on the right way to manage money. So what are we doing? We're all doing diversification. We're all doing long-term perspective. We're all focusing on rebalancing, dollar cost averaging, tax loss harvesting. We all understand Markowitz and modern portfolio theory and the efficient frontier and indexing.
There's like a curriculum now.
Right. And as a result, we're all doing it pretty much the same. So the downside of using all this wonderful tech that allows.
That is a really important point as well, because if you look at this trajectory of the stock market from like the 70s through the 2010s, or through 2010, I should say, basically up till the crash and everything in 2008, is an interesting move, because like if you go even further back, let's say when Goldman Sachs was first created, it's not an investment bank, it's just a little firm, right? And once Wall Street got into the 80s, like investment banking was the thing, and like he said, there was actually spreads to be made, money to be made. You had to call your broker. The best computers you had were green screens on them, right? Basically. And so there wasn't a huge technological advantage, but also, like you said, the knowledge advantage eventually became like a textbook thing. Like I think Walter Bresser, the guy that Bob Lucas basically saw do very successful cycles in the Forex market, said, oh, this could work on Bitcoin. And it did, right? So those guys were all kind of like, if you look at a lot of textbooks too, like some of the best, I would say, charting and trading textbooks are basically from the late 80s through about 2010, somewhere in that period. That's like when, and like the 90s had a lot of good innovation in that. But technology, in terms of like low latency trading on Wall Street, the closer that basically the banks got to the servers, the faster they could trade with the same methodologies, basically flattens out all of the gains, right? Because you got all this bot trading. Now, It'll be really interesting to see how crypto goes towards that over many, many decades, because for the traditional market, that's like what, 50 years that we're talking about there essentially before really, automated trading and everything takes over. And that, is possible in crypto at some point, but I don't think throughout the entire industry. But it'll be interesting to watch how that, shifts, especially with AI.
Yeah. I mean, it's if I had to guess, it'd probably be like that in the 40s, the 2040s. That's probably when
that'd be the early,
Because you got to think though, the average. I just look at myself as the average person in the space in terms. It's a millennial, so the people who are really in the crypto space, as we age into that sort of thing, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean that. So basically, we can make all the
crazy.
You're
right, because the boomers, right? How old were they in the 2010s? They were getting up there, right? So once we're kind of getting up there in the millennial generation, then that'll start to be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that sort of thing and stuff. So it's interesting. Yeah, let's keep going.
Allows us to rebalance and look at our tax loss harvesting and all that kind of good stuff.
He just reminded me right here. But basically, they've all turned into commodities. They turn into commodities. He's saying that what he's trying to say, what he said right here is basically that they've all turned into basically the same outfit. They're all doing the same shit. They're pretty much the same firm.
Yeah, they're all doing the same strategies.
They're all doing the same strategies and stuff. So it's about them niching themselves or stuff.
The result is every advisor is increasingly looking like every other advisor. Yeah. How do you differentiate when your fee is kind of the same and the services are kind of the same and the market results are kind of the same?
Golf.
It becomes fuzzy stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the client experience. It is the personality. It is that newness. And frankly, that takes us back to our crypto conversation. I think crypto, at the end of the day, is a market differentiator. You have an opportunity to talk about something with your clients that other advisors aren't talking about because they don't know what the heck it is. So the key for financial success and practice management is doing things, saying things, providing things that other advisors are not.
The thing that you mentioned is that differentiated personality and trust is obviously a big thing. You got into it early with the radio show, right? And Josh always says, like, people prefer to work with people that they trust or like, regardless of, sometimes regardless of
all things being equal.
Yeah,
people
everything
will
else
work
equal.
with someone they like.
Right.
So we hear this from advisors all the time asking us, like, I want to get into the content machine. I want to communicate with my clients or prospects in a different way. And we started it in blogging, you started it in radio. What advice do you give to advisors that come to you and say, like, I want to use this as a differentiator? How do I start the content game?
So for me, you can't build your business the way I built mine. It literally doesn't exist. When I was on the radio, I was the first, and there were huge gatekeepers at the radio stations. So I was the champion of broadcasting, taking my message and getting it out to the mass market in a way that literally...
You did it first, you did it better than anyone, and you really built something like with a moat around it.
And so the key first is the platform. Second is the messaging. What are you saying? And I was saying things that nobody else was saying. I was saying, carry a big long mortgage, don't pay it off. Don't invest in muni bonds. And there's just so many different areas of advice that what I was saying was different. My advice on college planning and home ownership and estate planning was just radically different than what you heard elsewhere. So my message was not only available everywhere, it was unique. Today, that advice isn't terribly unique. Most advisors have adopted most of what I've said. And thanks to tech, this podcast environment, anybody.
The barriers of entry to this are way lower than radio.
And therefore, here's what I recommend.
Don't do it.
No, yes, do it. But do it in the...
Good timing on that.
He's such a troll. God damn. Don't do it.
This makes me want to troll you even more on Moongang, but
Oh my God.
We troll it our own way.
Podcast environment, anybody.
The barriers of entry to this are way lower than radio.
And therefore, here's what I recommend.
Don't do it.
No, yes, do it, but do it in the following way. Don't be a broadcaster like I was. Be a narrowcaster.
Niche.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always tell people that. I agree.
In other words, I know an advisor whose office is across the street from Marriott's world headquarters, and he only works with Marriott executives. I know an advisor in Atlanta only works with Delta pilots. If you're not a Delta pilot, won't take you as a client. I want you to decide the niche that turns you on. You into cars?
Dude, this is such great advice. This guy
Yeah,
is
it is.
spitting game right now. He's basically saying for the small outfit shops and stuff like that, just basically super specify in your industry something that you're like the guy for, and you'll make a ton of money. This is literally what I did for my business. It's because like I had a landscape business, and I was like the margins were not that great, and I was like, "Fuck, what the hell do I do?" and stuff like that. So I niched myself into like irrigation, and then from there I niched myself really into doing like well systems and doing basically installs for like I would end up putting like I became like the guy known for essentially trenching out, putting pipes, and being able to irrigate entire mountainsides and some of these giant blaster cannons and stuff. And I was the only guy doing that, so I was up to my eyeballs in work all the time.
And yeah, there might not be too many actually good crypto courses out there or information sources for education, right?
Yep.
So I mean, there's this is why we're at where we're at, because there's also like a little dirty work aspect to it in the niche, right? Because it's sometimes if you're ahead of the trend, people will look down on it, poo-poo it, all that stuff, and then when you rock it up, right, they're like, they turn their heads and they're just like, oh, he just got lucky.
So if you listen to what he said right now from the beginning, I mean, like from a minute ago to now, what he said is you can't do what I did because that you can't do it anymore. It doesn't exist. You can't.
Well,
like
he says he can't do it exactly like he did it because, and this is why I think this is why he's saying that, is because the combination of that situation being so new in something doesn't come around very often. But you can I think you can recognize those things in other industries. So, for example, he took this on with podcasting. Joe Rogan also did that with podcasting at the same time, right? Well, okay, that podcasting lane is gone, but Twitch is doing something a little different there. That's still in the early stage, right? And stuff, you kind of just have to look for that next opportunity, and
right.
Crypto is one of those.
I will say about at least about Twitch, dude. It looks like they're torpedoing their business. They keep fucking kicking out all their top dudes. To a certain point, they're gonna end up fucking.
Well, they've been doing that ever since they were beginning. They think they do own the place, but
yeah, it's starting to. I think it's starting to bite them in the butt. But what I was trying to say was basically, yeah, like you can't build, like at the time, yeah, radio was the thing. He was the first, being a pioneer. So you can, like, one thing I want to say, you can be a generalist if you're first. You can be, well, yeah, I'm a financial advisor guy, but you're like the first financial advisor guy. You can be that lane, but as it gets,
you have to evolve.
You have to evolve. But as it gets more crowded, you have to start niching more. And then when it's really crowded, you have to be the niche of a niche. And like you have to find your edge, right? And that's tough, but you can still be successful, right? The most problem most people have is that they're trying to be like, hey, you guys, I'm the bit like this. I laugh when I hear a guy making I'm a Bitcoin maximalist channel. Good luck, bro.
Well, especially if they're a new one, I'm just like, I'm so sorry for you, bro. Because like, yeah. Like it's like just going into a crowded room. It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like you're going into a costume party. Everyone's a pirate, and you walk in as a pirate. Right. Exactly. You at least want to be an undead pirate or a fucking zombie, or I'd walk in there with a moon suit. What's up, G? But yeah, you can make your own niche and stuff. And this is what I've told like guys who've started YouTube channels from our courses. I've told them like lanes that I think that are available, and it's worked out really well for them and stuff. So yeah, man. Let's keep going. I'll backtrack a little bit here.
Marriott's world headquarters, and he only works with Marriott executives. I know an advisor in Atlanta only works with Delta pilots. If you're not a Delta pilot, won't take you as a client. I want you to decide the niche that turns you on. You into cars? You're a gearhead? Get into guys who are into cars. Do you like gardening? Do you like knitting? Do you like cooking?
And even though he's talking about just the investment side, this is completely accurate. Like you can use this for YouTube, like niche into your thing. But like this is what I got asked this the other day. I think we talked about it a little bit on Fresh and Fit as well, and a couple, I think Moon Gang as well last week, where I was trying to say this, that if you're trying to YouTube, right, or like you're like, how do I make money? Like I think we're telling this to the 18-year-old a little bit, but like I think we didn't get into the YouTube side of it. But if you're already doing something, then start YouTubing about it or doing that. That's a way to like actually get a lane for yourself and build yourself some like to get yourself out there basically, right? Or niche yourself out. Like I literally I've seen a guy like this dude who has like a small landscape company. He ends up like posting videos of himself cleaning out like entire places and puts in clips his own videos and stuff. The dude has like the guy has like 300,000 subscribers now.
Dude, there's in Minnesota, there's I forget the name of the channel or anything, but there's this channel of this guy who does farming, right? And he has a couple 100,000 or a few 100,000 subs, maybe 500,000 or maybe even 1 million. I can't remember, but like literally, he's just like doing his normal job farming, and he's like got a huge following. And then I don't know, I forget what he sells, but he sells something along the lines of equipment or feed or whatever, and makes a good chunk of change. So if you can figure out, and we've said this with crypto as well, but just with the internet and the digital age, if you can figure out what skills you have and how you can basically get a bigger audience globally for that, and then with crypto particularly, right? Maybe you have a business where you can accept crypto. That's one way to get involved with crypto, right? Or maybe you talk to your boss about having the business accept crypto to try to get more clients or whatever. But there's different ways you can try to leverage this knowledge.
Definitely.
I don't care what it is, but choose the demographic, choose the psychographic. If you are into plumbers, your dad was a plumber, your uncles are plumbers, your brothers are plumbers, and you know everything about plumbing, become the plumbing advisor. Write for plumbing trade association magazines. Go to the plumbing conventions and have a booth. Target only plumbers. There's a lot of them.
I've been giving that advice for 10 years. Nobody listens.
And it's foolish. They should listen
But
to
the
you,
people that
Josh.
do it, they find their niche.
Yep.
I know someone fishing is his passion,
Yep.
and investing is his second passion, and it works.
Every
People
other
don't do it, though.
every other profession has done this. Lawyers now specialize in
Yeah.
environmental law, criminal law,
Yep.
corporate law, etc. Doctors do this. My brother had surgery not long ago, and the surgeon only operates on thumbs. I was like, huh? Not just hands,
That's his passion.
thumbs. That's it. Now, people fly from all over the
Thumbs.
world to have this guy do surgery on their thumbs. He is an incredibly narrow practice and an incredible.
And people all over the world, they just want to get into crypto. So they come to Crypto Mindset quarter 2. That's what happens, baby. We're the thumb specialist, man. The only guys who can get it right to get you rich, man. That's right.
If you don't got an opposable thumb, are you really a Homo sapien?
The thumb
You're not in
is very
crypto. Are you
important.
really living in the future?
Right. I mean, our course is so because it teaches you it teaches you everything that has to do with like in terms of like what crypto is, how to move it and stuff. But it's the practicality. It isn't this fluff bullshit. This is what a blockchain is, and this is how it functions. We teach you the fundamentals of it, the technical analysis, but we show you at the end of the day what is it? Why are you going to crypto, right? To make gains, make money, invest for yourself. So we teach you how to fish, and that's Crypto Mindset. And I'm very, very proud of this product and stuff. Both me and Charlie have devoted our lives to it and stuff. And I can't say that for many people because the average guy in crypto is here fucking one day and he's gone the next. We'll be here for decades.
Yeah. And same with guys in the internet space in general, right? A lot of people, get satiated real quickly, run away with a bag, and never seen again, or get lazy and all that shit. But I think because we get asked this question every once in a while, like, will you guys still stream, when you're billionaires and blah, 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 blah. I mean, this guy's streaming, right? He has $300 billion under management. Why is he streaming? Because he enjoys it. And, there's a lot of stuff that comes for it. I think there's a lot of people that can't really, they can't think far ahead, like that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people get into crypto to escape a job or like, there's something I tell this to everybody. I tell this to everybody and stuff. You can't escape work. Because you can't. Like, let me say it. You can't escape work, and what I mean by this is that even if you're not working, you're retired, you're done, you will make everything in your life a chore. It doesn't matter. Humans are naturally like woe is me, sad, depressed, because we can't be happy all the time. We're naturally just like, yeah, this could be better. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm not feeling so. Yeah, I'm a little hungry. Yeah, I'm a little.
Yep.
This is how we are. This is how naturally we are because we can't naturally be. You can't be up here all the time. You just cannot, and stuff. It's dangerous. right? Because this is how we're incentivized and stuff. Because when we touch the sweet nectar of Mount Olympia, right? We touch some of that juicy nectar and stuff, that ambrosia. It motivates us to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. Like I know there's that whole joke and stuff is like guys put in all this work to get jacked and fit and make all this money just for 2 seconds of a pump. It's over. But that's what it's about, the journey, right? But it really is about when you touch it's supposed to be that high, because then it motivates you to keep going. This is why our society has grown so fast and so much, because we touch that high and we want more.
Yeah. Well, at least we don't die when that happens, because there's some animals out there in the animal kingdom that die immediately, you know. It's like, that sucks.
So there it is, man. Beautiful. All right, let's keep going.
Incredibly successful one. Advisors are still acting like generalists. And we know now that the market environment is so complicated.
Yeah.
We know the
Fragmented.
truth. Right. We can't be experts in every one of these subjects. Pick your subject, pick your audience, and narrowcast into it, and you will be more successful than ever.
I think that's the
Such a
pick your
great
audience
point.
one is so big, because we have people come to us say, I want to build an audience like you guys. And I always say, like, that's the worst. We didn't start our thing to build an audience. It just sort of happened,
Right.
because
Yeah.
we were writing what we liked about. So yeah, I think you have to have that specialty.
He's sort of capping there. There's a little,
Well, there's a part of that. There's a part of that. I mean, like, you do your style the way you want to do your style.
Right.
I do my style the way I want to do my style. And then we shake and bake, you know, together on the Moon Gang and the course and everything. And, you know, it makes for an interesting combo. But so you do have to go towards what you're interested in. But at the same time, you do have to have a strategy to it, right? If you have no method to the madness and you're just doing what you love because you love it, you know, yeah.
I don't care what anyone has to say. If you're on YouTube putting videos, you are narcissistic, a little bit.
Or
Like,
it
you
forces you
wanna
to
be-
become a little bit too, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like I'm not like a massive extrovert, but I am a little extroverted. But like sometimes I took me a long time to like get out of my shell to do this and stuff. I didn't start doing this until after my business got more successful, and I was already in like my late 20s. Right? It isn't like I was like a 15-year-old or 18-year-old kid doing this stuff. Like I wouldn't have done it. I would have been too scared to do it. I mean, seriously, like, yeah.
Did I tell you? I think I've told you about that wedding I went to back in the day when I was first starting my channel in Japan.
Oh, you may have in a bit. Is this the month? Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, it was basically just, you know, like, you do also have to go out on a limb and let like people basically just laugh at you. Right. Because like when I first started the channel, like I went to one of my ex's family's wedding. Right. And so you're meeting other relatives that you have no idea of. And then you're talking to them in a second language. And then they're asking you, hey, what do you do? You know, and it's like, yeah, I do a YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. OK, that's a little bit weird. But on what? Crypto. And they look at you like you're batshit insane. And then somebody has the nerve to ask, like, you know, how many followers do you have? Oh, about 100. You know, people thought I was fucking crazy, bro, for, you know, starting to do this, right? And but I had, you know, my method to my madness and what we're doing. Then once, you know, you reached out to me and we talked, and we got a relationship there. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. You know, this is time to roll. But like, you have to be willing to take that lump and just be like, there will literally be people who look at you like you're a batshit insane for getting into crypto, for doing anything to try to level yourself up. And you do sometimes have to make it look, sometimes it looks like you're taking a step back to take a few steps forward. Right. And that's, again, part of the being counterintuitive or being counter to what everybody else thinks. Because if you follow the crowd always, you just fall off a cliff like another lemming, especially with the inflation these days.
Definitely. Now, this is sort of the thing that I don't know what's going on with society a little bit, where like people are afraid to talk about they're trying to make money. And they're like, a lot of time, like this was more with millennials I noticed recently, like, and then I think it's chilled out a little bit with the younger guys, with the Zoomers and stuff. But there's this whole thing about making like for every shoe you buy, we're giving a shoe to a kid in Africa. It had been like we're making money, but we're doing this good thing for the world. And we're like, it's okay to want to make money. That's fine, right? But there's also this whole thing too, where like a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of guys in the crypto space where like they're trying to seem like they're not trying to grow their audience and stuff. Like you're trying.
Oh yeah, it's not my goal bro.
It's
Like,
on my goals.
I'm here on social media, but
Yeah, bro, you're trying to get like I talked like I was about to say a name. Never mind. I was about to say a name like for somebody, but like somebody we know and stuff like that, like was trying his best. Like he kept like trying to grow social media, and he grows social media pretty big. But I was just trying to get him to admit, bro, you're trying to get clout. Stop. You don't have to lie about it to us, bro. We're having fun, dude. Like it's no. It's just I'm helping people out, and so I'm like, bro. Yeah, sure, but you're still getting clout. Like you want, like there is a kick to it, and that's perfectly okay and stuff because you're trying to like it's just being honest that you're trying to grow, you know. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, this is a big disconnect and problem people have, you know.
I want to build an audience like you guys, and I always say like that's the worst. We didn't start our thing to build an audience; it just sort of happened,
Right?
Because we were writing what we liked about. So yeah, I think you have to have that specialty where you're funneling down as opposed to trying to be wide.
Why do you want to be the 20th best podcast talking about financial planning when you could be the first best podcast talking about financial planning in New England and like literally make a name for yourself in that population?
It'll be so much easier to build your business, sustain your business. You'll get a flood of referrals like no other way.
Yeah.
As soon as you convince that one plumber that you're the plumber advisor, that plumber will tell all their plumber friends.
It's such a huge insight. Let's backtrack. What do you think that guy's life was like? I only do financial planning for Delta pilots during 2020.
I think business had to skyrocket because the airline
Good
industry had come to a collapse.
Yeah, actually, you probably got more calls than ever before.
Of course, the best thing that can happen to us, and I hate to say it, but we all know it's true. The best thing that happens to advisors
Bear markets
is exactly
crashes.
right. It's a
Totally
horrible
agree.
environment.
Duncan, edit that. Well, this is interesting. So when the market's getting killed and I'm on TV and I don't run away from like,
And the reason that's true for their industry is because they have control of all their clients' money. Yeah. So yeah.
you know, if the Dow's down 900 points and I'm scheduled to be on, I don't call in sick.
Right.
I go on.
Right.
And all the stocks and ETFs and long-term investing philosophy and all of the stuff that I've been saying, it looks terrible in that moment. And people either on social media or whatever, they'll jeer. They'll be like, oh, see? Like they think it's like a bad thing. No, you don't understand. The phones in my office are lit up like a Christmas tree right now, sir.
Right.
You genuinely don't understand how this works.
Absolutely right.
Right.
In a bull market, everybody's a genius. But in a bear market, people realize they don't know what they're doing, that their advisor probably isn't of great help because they're not answering the phone. They're embarrassed about what's going on. And this is the time when people realize they're in over their heads and they need better advice and they're looking for someone who can provide it.
I think that's really great insight. I want to talk about the events of the spring with the banks, the custodians, the interest rate situation. This is one of those topics I've been meaning to ask what your thoughts are. I know that like us,
What's he talking about? Is something happening?
I know that like us, you deal with all of the brokerage custodians and, you know, the new reality over the last 5 years is that they've substituted trading revenue dealing with RIAs for fixed income revenue.
Right.
And that's obviously under the microscope. When rates hit 5%, every consumer in America is like searching, well, what am I actually getting on my cash?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one facet that affected the advisory industry. But then just generally, like we had like a bank run. We had a bank panic.
Yep.
It came and went inside of 2 weeks.
Yep.
Fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you thinking while this was going down?
Well, I tweeted immediately
As one does.
that, as one does, that the Fed had to come to the rescue to prevent a collapse, frankly, of the
Bigger risk than moral hazard.
Oh yeah, much more so.
I agree.
It was shocking and obscene that they got themselves into this mess. We said the same thing in 08. It's amazing how short-term our memories are because it's the same damn thing that happened in 07 and 08. Here we are again. But given that that's where we were, there was no choice but for the FDIC to step in and fix it. The problem is that there was no bank run until the FDIC opened its big fat mouth. Silvergate and Signature Bank and SVB were not in the kind of trouble that the regulators were claiming. This was actually an anti-crypto effort on their part.
That.
Woo!
Yep.
Woo-hoo!
Yes, it-
What the fudge have we been saying, man? Wow, dude.
Now we have a guy who has over $300 billion under assets under management and actual financial I don't know what you want to call them exactly, but financial services professionals related towards the New York government that are also saying the exact same thing.
Right. And then and surprisingly enough, New York is actually defending us right now against Maxine Waters was literally trying to get the crypto is really the people who caused crypto's the people who caused this thing, right? No, it was actually just a bank run, but crypto is a significant portion of their company. She can't ever keep her hands together. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, it's also a planned bank run. I think the lady from New York actually described, the what do you call it, the planned demolition,
Right.
and dude, this decade is all going to be like it. I think what's happening right now, especially in finance, is it's kind of like 100 years ago, right? Like 100 years ago, right? Finance in America was changing massively, right? And we're in kind of that same period again.
And they don't like that they're losing power. They just don't like it. These boomers are like the most selfish people on the planet. The ones in control, not your grandma and grandpa, but like the ones in control they're so selfish they won't relinquish to the next generation. They just won't do it. These fuckers are they're gonna do Operation Necromancer and make sure that their fucking skeletons
well, it'll be like Futurama, just heads in jars.
Heads in jars and shit.
Are because it's the same damn thing that happened in 07 and 08. Here we are again, but given that that's where we were, there was no choice but for the FDIC to step in and fix it. The problem is that there was no bank run until the FDIC opened its big fat mouth. Silvergate and Signature Bank and SVB were not in the kind of trouble that the regulators were claiming. This was actually an anti-crypto effort on their part. I totally believe that. Okay. All the evidence suggests it. And I think that this was an invented crisis designed to achieve an agenda that regulators have. And I think that they've created and manufactured this crisis. And the end result is they didn't kill crypto. Bitcoin's price is at a 2-year high. What they have done is undermined faith and confidence in American banks.
Yep.
And what's coming next is faith in a crisis of faith in money market funds.
Okay, can I play something for you? I want to get your reaction to this.
So now we're reacting to a video.
John, are we ready for this?
To a video.
The beginning of it.
You mentioned you're hearing about the recent events in the markets, and I would note there were 3 banks that failed in those handful of days, those 4 or 5 days. And 2 of those banks, the first and the third that failed, Silvergate and Signature, were engaged in the crypto business. I mean, some would
you
say
just said that.
Crypto banks. So it's interesting just how this was all had some crypto narrative as well.
It is a misnomer that the failure of Signature Bank was related to crypto. What we saw with Signature Bank is that it had a new fashioned bank run, and the outflow of deposits were from a broad depositor base, including wholesale food vendors, fiduciaries, trust accounts, law firms. And in fact, the outflow of crypto deposits were in exact proportion to their representation in the depositor base overall. And in fact, some of those deposit outflows were actually pre-planned. So all
right, so that is the New York Department of Financial Services Superintendent Adrienne Harris, who is refuting that crypto was involved. But Gensler is saying what you're saying, which is interesting because you guys aren't necessarily on the same side of the issue.
Right.
So you genuinely feel that these banks were targeted, or that the crypto
Signature,
element?
I said Signature was.
They look like they were taken out and shot.
There's no question. There's no question they were.
So the FDIC is in on this with the securities regulators?
This is the allegation that people are arguing over, is the fact that in addition to the SEC's efforts to dissuade companies from doing business with in the world of crypto and dissuading the ability of crypto companies to operate, at the same time, the FDIC, the OCC, and the Fed were taking their actions against banks that were doing business with crypto companies, and they have issued memorandum to banks advising them not to engage in business with crypto
clear
companies.
the runway for the Federal Reserve's own digital coin?
And well, maybe. I don't think the two are necessarily incompatible. I think one is actually complementary to the other, but
I think so.
Yep.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, it's
not 100%, but more than I think it's more of a plus than a minus overall.
Right. So the SEC is actively trying to kill crypto. Then with under Gary Gensler, I think when we get a new head that changes, but the SEC is not being fair to crypto. On top of that, FDIC is also in cahoots trying to do some stuff, and they started the bank runs on these banks initially, and then it was really like kind of like a couple technical. It was like Peter Thiel, and then like some other comments, and then it was a combination of things, but still crazy. And then the Fed as well has now. I mean, we've done videos on this on Fed Now, the Fed Now program and stuff. And it seemed like a pipe dream a year ago, but now look, we're on the cusp of this stuff starting to come out now. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, they're trying to roll out the digital dollar. They really are, because it's very possible that they may one point collapse the U.S. dollar and then put us on, instead of putting on the U.S. dollar, we're now on USD now.
We're going to lay out in the Crypto Mindset course the playbook that they're basically running over the next, I would say, 2 to 5 years for central bank digital currencies globally.
Right. Yeah, this is something that we've been talking about for a while, but Charlie especially, he's done a lot of big videos. How many videos are in that series now, Charlie, on your channel?
Probably like 15, but I only do them like once a quarter. Since like DeFi summer in 2020, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, it's been clear since 2020, and maybe even since 2019, it's been clear that they're going this direction. But it's not until late last year, early this year, that I would say people finally were like accepting that to some extent.
It's kind of like, shout out to you call it digital currency wars, right? Just for people when they go on your channel.
Yeah, exactly.
So digital currency wars. I mean, we've been seeing this stuff for a long time, but it really heated up last year. Where like, instead of just seeing little smoke, we started seeing some fire. We're like, whoa. And they're actively, I mean, them coming out with an entire commercial. This is the Fed Now system. The Fed Now system is blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. And this is what I'm telling you. Like when the big recession happens, they're more than likely, they're going to come out with some form of UBI that was popularized by Andrew Yang. It's not his fault, but and then they're going to use that as an excuse to roll out the central bank digital currency. They're going to force you to get an app. And at first, it's going to be A-okay. It's all going to be roses and sunshine and rainbows. Then at one point, you're restricted on buying this. You're restricted on buying that. Hey, we have to turn in our dollars. What do you mean we got to turn in our dollars? Yeah, you have until this year to turn in all your physical dollars, and we'll credit you. We'll credit you some brand new. We'll even give you a 1% extra dollars. You turn in for every $100 bill you turn in, you will get $101 in the new system, and then every fucking dope. Every dumbass bank will turn in their freaking dollars in.
Well, here's the other thing, right? Like they also will probably take down larger denominations of currency as well. But we don't need Benjamin Franklin anymore, right? Or something. Because why? Well, because, we don't want rich people moving a lot of money around, a lot of cash around. Like they'll do that first, and then they'll eventually take the dollars, the physical dollars away if they can. But I really hope, especially in the United States, that a lot of people put up a really big stink about it. Tom Emmer in the United States government, right? And he's a representative from Minnesota. He's basically put a pretty big stink up about like actually, keeping cash and, limiting different factions of privacy in the digital dollar. So we need a lot more of that in the U.S. government for sure. Otherwise, it's going to be very dystopian.
Definitely. Now the fight we're going to fight back is with crypto, and it's not going to we might end up in more of a blended world where we have both and stuff like that. But I mean, it's going to be the fight we're going to have to fight for the next 20 years. But we're going to fight it, And it's just putting yourself in a position where we can gain the financial freedom to be able to move around and have the ability to do stuff like that, And So let's go back. Great points, man. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it took that's what I'm saying. It's like some of the people sometimes think like me and Charlie got these cockamamie ideas, and then we have other business professionals and other people connecting the dots as well, going like, these dudes run like there's probably there's over $300 billion of management in that room alone, at least, that's, and they're coming to the same conclusions we are.
They're doing is chasing American companies offshore. Coinbase has already said, forget it, we'll go to the UK. If you're not going to allow us to do business in the U.S. where we have a clear set of rules, we'll go elsewhere. I mean, look at Gensler's testimony before the House Financial Services Committee just yesterday. They blew him away. His refusal to answer questions, his adamant insistence that crypto is dangerous without providing any evidence to support that fact. All he's doing is harming American economy. He's destroying American jobs, and he's doing a huge disservice to American retail investors. There is no justification for any of this, and that's why there's now a bill in Congress to fire him.
Yep.
Do you think that crypto deserves to say we want our own rules, and then
Hell
we take 100-year-old securities laws and say, okay, we'll carve out an exception for you?
No, absolutely not. Just the opposite. And the vast majority of crypto companies today.
And that's probably because he wants to keep he knows how his company's operated now. So it's like he can just plug and play crypto to his business. But I don't know about all that, Jack. Yeah.
Don't take my motorway. Don't take my motorway. Yeah. Yeah. It's just part of being an incumbent, somebody that already exists there, they don't want things to change that much. And also, if he were to say that or advocate for that, a lot of his friends might get angry, or some of his clients might get angry at him too. Right. So it might not be his true thought, but it might be the one that, keeps his head above water when it comes to his social circles too.
Why I'm getting more and more confidence that Gensler's getting out of here is that New York is so against him as well. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's the
crazy part. New York is, because you're fucking with the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in crypto. There's money to be made, and you're like messing up with my chance. There's a lot of guys in Long Island that need their cash right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's true. They want to keep paying rent in the city,
Crazy, man.
Are not saying that at all. What the crypto industry is saying is we simply want clarity. We don't really care what the rules are. We just want to know what the rules are, because this regulation by enforcement, which is RAAs we all know about and we all hate, we can't allow that in the crypto community. A perfect example is Coinbase. This is a publicly traded company given a permission by the SEC to be publicly traded, where they have gone to the SEC dozens of times to say, please tell us which of these coins that are on our platform are securities versus not, because if they are securities, we don't want to make them available unless they become registered. The SEC has refused to give them the clarity. And now the SEC slaps them with a Wells notice for selling unregistered securities in an environment where they've been asking for the clarity. This is just no way to operate.
Matt Levine was writing that the clarity is all of these things are securities.
And that, if that's the way it is, then fine. Gensler refused.
What does Coinbase do if does Coinbase then become an SEC registered exchange? And if so, can they keep the brokerage operation?
They shouldn't. In other words, we solved this problem.
Yeah.
This is where Pantera Capital comes in, right? We were talking about this earlier on my stream a little bit. And it's like, what does Coinbase do, right? Look at how the base token or the base platform and what they're doing there. We talked about it earlier. So just jump over it on that stream and listen to that, because I think that's an important thought from Pantera Capital of where things could be going that I think a lot of people are definitely not thinking about right now.
Definitely. And there's going to be a lot of splitting up of companies and rejiggering and things around and stuff like that. I think they're going to make a case right now for possibly splitting up Coinbase into two different type of businesses, possibly. But I think I can sort of see what they mean about splitting the custodian versus splitting the actual exchange. Like Coinbase, I don't know if Coinbase should be custodying your tokens. They shouldn't, right? They shouldn't be. And honestly, we're like in crypto, the whole ethos is own your own crypto. But we know a lot of people are really lazy and they want someone else to have responsibility so they can have someone to yell at when things go bad or something. Because most people are like, that is one thing that we deal with in crypto, is that people are notoriously bad at managing their own funds or don't have much practice in actually holding their own stuff. But it's like, but it's the technology is new, basically. So in
the 1930s, following the crash of 29, we separated exchanges from custodians. We solved that a long time ago.
What if that's the answer for Coinbase to just say,
be one
we're
of the
going to
other.
locate the exchange in Hong Kong and London, and we're going to operate the brokerage here in the United States?
Do one or the other.
Right, split them up. become two separate companies?
But you
We
don't
wouldn't
know,
allow that in securities.
you don't know which way to go in the absence of the regulatory clarity. And for Gensler to say the rules are on the books, those rules didn't contemplate this new innovation, this new technology. And to simply say the laws of the 1930s are applicable, I don't know if that's legitimate or not. I don't know if it's all encompassing. I'll give you one simple example. We know that crypto follows capital gains rules for taxation purposes. It's a capital asset. You buy it, you sell it for a profit or a loss. We know how the taxes work. Explain staking, forks, airdrops, mining.
Staking looks like a dividend.
What? It looks like a dividend, but there's no rule that specifically explains it for you to rely
he's
on
also
as a
positive there.
CPA in filling out tax forms.
That was so clean.
Yeah,
Clean burn.
exactly. And the implication is like, what did I say at the beginning of the stream? Don't talk out of your ass if you don't know what you're talking about.
But it's right. It's crazy that we don't know what this is and shit. I mean, it's crazy to me now. I mean, I have my thoughts about it and stuff like that. But I mean, it probably should be treated like a dividend. Low, like whatever interest you are earning, you should be earning. It should be like you should be like paying the minimum amount of tax. I really am about low taxes and all this stuff anyway, because it's not fair. It's not fair. Like you already paid. It's just not fair the way the system works right now. Like we're getting taxed in everything. It's just like there's tax for this and tax for that, but like no, this is
Do you think
So we can't-
Rep McHenry and do you think it's realistic that the House and the Senate will be able to agree on how to regulate these assets, and then
Yes.
will be willing to usurp existing commodities or securities regulators and create a new oversight body? Or
No, they're not going to do that. They'll simply provide the clarity as to how
an asset class. This is sort of like the it's sort of like it's this weird thing where like kind of like the Navy had the Air Force under them, and eventually they had to create a different branch of the military for the Air Force itself because it got so big. That's kind of what's going on. You need to have a 4-star general of the Air Force as well. You know what I mean? It's that certain point. Yeah, at some point, like they're trying to kind of eat it so they can get bigger for their budgets and stuff like that. But it needs to. I believe it truly does need to have its own like kind of branch.
Yeah.
the organizations ought to behave.
Okay.
Because there's not a lot of debate. This isn't nearly as complicated or as controversial as people want to make it out to be. I'm not suggesting we need a new regulatory agency. I don't think we do.
But it seems like the SEC and the CFTC are not on the same page at all.
No, they're not, but it's part of a turf war. They just want to have the jurisdiction. So the Congress will provide the clarity, and with that clarity, everybody will get down to business. You know, it's like in the same thing in the stock market. Investors know how to make money in bull markets and bear markets. We just want to know what kind of environment we're in.
In the meantime, though, you would agree some of the enforcement actions that the SEC has taken entirely justified because there are people outright stealing.
Absolutely. There's far too much fraud and abuse in the marketplace. That's true in any emerging innovative environment. This is why it's so important for advisors to engage, because we're better at this due diligence. We're better at oversight and protection than our clients are. And we can protect them in ways that they cannot protect themselves. Many clients are investing too much money, or they're buying the wrong coins, like they're buying Dogecoin instead of Bitcoin because they're listening to Elon Musk and following his tweets.
Yeah.
They're using the wrong platforms like an offshore entity such as FTX, whereas we can protect them from themselves while giving them the access to the asset class to help them achieve their financial goals.
So you keep talking about the technology, and we haven't spoken about it yet. So for the listener that isn't familiar with it, what is so special about the blockchain technology? Why is it so much better than what we're currently doing?
It's simply software. And this software allows businesses to operate faster, cheaper, safer, with greater transparency and inclusion. Give you a simple illustration of this. If you want to wire money from one country to another, let's say you're an immigrant worker here in the U.S. and mom's back home in South America, and you want to send money to mom, or
Western Union,
or you're an international corporation, you want to send money from the U.S. to Europe, you've got to go through the SWIFT system. You got to wire the money. That takes, on average, 5 days at a cost of 6.5% in fees and commissions.
Wow.
With Bitcoin, you can do it in 10 minutes for free.
What
It's
if
simply-
somebody says there's a reason? First, we want to double check the reason why the money is leaving the country, or is it stolen, or, and then somebody else would say, well, what if there's a mistake in the transmission? The blockchain will codify that mistake into too bad.
Well,
Like there.
Josh, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say something, not that exactly, but along those lines, right? I'm just like, yeah, you're just don't be retarded.
They always use like terrorism and this and that and stuff. They
Right.
just want to limit your freedom and stuff. And like these guys have been inside of the fucking the golden cage for so long that they accept masters' rules. Like we can change the rules and stuff. Like you should be able to send your money to anyone you want for whatever fucking reason. The reason that they don't care about it is because they're trying to tax your ass, and they're trying to tax you so they disempower you.
Yeah,
Because they print money. The federal government doesn't need to tax the federal government doesn't need to tax you because they can print money anytime they want. The reason they tax you is because if they print the money, they'll have a double spend problem. So they tax you to take your money away from yourself because they're spending your money already, and that's so that you don't get crazy inflation because they're spending the dollars you're working for.
yeah, it's all about control, right?
And they're gonna. What's gonna happen? The government's not gonna lose full control, but it's going to start. Like the time of governments having so much power over people has ended. It's lowering. They're going to start losing power, significant power. I mean, at least see a 50% decline over time at some point.
Especially with like we've had incompetent politicians, in the last few years, but we are like I've seen some crazy shit on the internet in terms of like politicians just saying the most retarded shit and I've ever heard. And the more idiocracy that you get, yeah, people are going to disconnect. The general population, they think are really, really dumb. But if people are in, people really want to go towards what truth is, in my opinion. And so once they might not get it right away, but once the mass kind of finds the right direction, that's what really scares the politicians, And so I think the masses will show their power, especially when it comes to internet related technologies. Because the one thing for millennials and the generations right now, which, are the up and comers, you take the internet away or you take freedom of the internet away. That's probably one of the few things that's actually going to get them up in arms,
Yeah, I mean, even though I am fully for getting rid of TikTok, just because I do think it's some Chinese plant stuff. The younger generations like fucking freaking the fuck out about it. Like, whoa,
well,
how dare
because
you
they're trying to get rid of VPNs. They're trying to say like slide in there. Oh yeah, you can't use VPNs now too. And it's like, wait a minute, you're not trying to ban TikTok. You're trying to control people on the internet and allow laws to do so.
Right. I need to get richer, guys. I need to start running for government at some point. I need a cabal on all this stuff, man. Your friendly neighborhood crypto guy, man. But let's get into it.
That mistake into too bad.
Well, Josh, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, well, I'm trying every day.
But what about the argument that but at least if I'm sending $1, I know the other person is getting $1. What if I'm sending $1 of Bitcoin? By the time they get it, 2 days later, it's now 70 cents.
Well, first of all, they're not getting it 2 days later; they're getting it 10 minutes later.
I'm saying, but they get it immediately, and then 2 days later, the dollar is now 70 cents.
Get owned, motherfucker. They're not waiting 2 days. We're getting it in 10 minutes and stuff on Ethereum, 13 seconds on pull chain, 3 seconds.
Boom.
They're not getting it 2 days later; they're getting it 10 minutes later.
I'm saying, but they get it immediately, and then 2 days later, the dollar is now 70 cents.
So as soon as you get it, convert it back into your natural currency, or let's not use Bitcoin at all. Use a stable coin.
Yep.
Is the technology there's been a million different pitches over the years, and I think it's changed. At first, it was going to be everything's going to be tokenized, and then it's no, this is a macro hedge. Is your biggest thing with crypto just the technology? Like, what is your biggest pitch for crypto?
It's the technology. We have an environment where we now have the ability, thanks to blockchain technology, where we can tokenize virtually everything. And we're in the process of doing this. We're
I gotta stop this. Damn, Rick is spinning right now, bro. Damn, son.
tokenizing real estate deeds. We're tokenizing driver's licenses, medical records, education records, employment records. We're tokenizing artwork. We're tokenizing music. Bruce Springsteen sold his music catalog for $500 million. Dozens of artists have been doing this. The companies that are buying that music are tokenizing it. Rihanna just did this. She just dropped a whole bunch of NFTs that are essentially pieces of ownership of her songs. So as a buyer of that NFT, you're now an owner of her music. Every time her song is played on Spotify, you're earning a piece of the royalty. You're not only being a fan, you're being an owner. The ability to monetize, to be a participant, as opposed to letting Facebook be the owner of the data you upload, now you're an owner of your data. And this ownership capability for recording artists, for graphic artists and designers, for book authors has never been greater. This opportunity for wealth creation and ownership, entrepreneurship is going to change the
So
world.
that part of it to me seems inevitable.
I wanted to mention, Michael and I met with the CEO of one of the biggest asset management firms in the world, and this week, and we talked about, general advisor topics, mutual funds, ETFs, and I'm like, what else are you excited about? And it just became 30 minutes
Of what you just spoke about.
How about this?
Her point was shareholders.
I know who you're talking about.
Shareholder service.
They're fucking talking about Kathy Wood. I know for how many women are running funds, bro? Like who else but Kathy, bro? Kathy out here swinging the dick, bro. And because she had the balls to see oh, the market's kind of simple jack right now. Let me do the simple jack strategies and just made a fortune.
Yep.
This is costs. Like if you're running a fund, how expensive it is to push that paper around.
Ready for this
versus
prediction?
What the blockchain.
10 years, ETFs will not exist.
Ooh.
They will be tokenized. You will
buy. He does know who he's talking about.
You will buy an NFT that represents a share of what is today an ETF, and the ability to trade 24/7, 365 in a virtually frictionless environment at incredibly low cost. Instant settlement. But why on earth is this? What is this T+1, T+2?
Well,
nonsense?
I never understood that because when I got in the business, it was T+3, and now it's T+2.
How archaic!
It's 30 years.
That makes
ago.
sense, I guess, if there's margin involved to make sure that the collateral and whatever, all that sort of stuff exists. But if you're not trading a margin, why does it need to be T plus whatever it is?
Exactly.
Yeah, but Rick, in traditional finance, you can make a mistake.
And what they mean is when they need T+3, when he said is sometimes they would sell a stock or they would do something and they would take 3 days to verify.
Yeah.
The ownership of it and now it's T2. Now it's only in 30 years, it's now 1 day faster in 30 years.
Banks,
crazy.
They know how to innovate, that's for sure.
That's insane.
And there's a third party that you can call and you could say, I put the wrong digit, or I sent the money to a different account. I want to change
bust the trade.
I think what's holding back finance from fully embracing the technology is this code is law, ethos, where mistakes really can ruin someone's life and can't be fixed, and there's nobody to talk. There's no 1-800 help. I just f***ed up my account, and people want that in finance.
Well, of course they want that. So here's what it comes down to.
Too bad.
What you're describing.
Yeah. They don't want personal responsibility. They want insurance. That's true, right? But more so, the incumbents don't want to give up their. They don't want to give up their moat. That's what it's really about.
If it was life and death and you force everyone to do it, everyone would custody their own stuff. They would. Yeah. We all are trusted to, when we're born, right? We're all trusted to have our social security card.
Yeah.
How many of us? I mean, obviously, I know we input it sometimes, but seriously, if imagine your social security card was your passwords for all your stuff. Everyone would keep their stuff pretty safe, I would imagine, outside of a burglary and stuff like that. But everyone can handle their own social security number, but people can't handle their own fucking a couple 12 words, kindergarten words in a fucking safe or some shit.
Yep. Well, and the Herc here mentions in the super chat, he says they basically want you to go through a broker, which again, they don't want to give up their moat, right? So it's why embrace the technology? It's kind of like how the gas companies, right? Or the automobile companies have taken a long time to, go towards electric because they obviously, made a lot of money, in the other form. But now that, of course, they start incentivizing with ESG credits and bullshit like that, then, of course, companies are going to go start doing that. So not until, the financial system starts incentivizing it. I think Fidelity has always been on the cutting edge. Yeah. But you might start seeing down the line, them or other institutions start trying to, figure out different ways to incentivize, other financial institutions kind of innovate with them. But yeah, I like what he said there about ETFs not existing and being tokenized.
And this is crazy because we've been saying this way longer than any of these guys. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I remember literally saying, I think on my second ever podcast I ever did, I literally talked about tokenizing equities and stuff. This is in early 2020.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. I mean, actually, no, it's 2019. What am I talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Like, crypto gamble podcasts and stuff.
Oh yeah. I remember one of the first conversations we had was about like what was that Funfair token?
Oh, the Funfair. God damn it. Yeah, but it wouldn't work. It's just gambling is just such a the fun.
Well, we were at that time. We already knew it had failed in the bear market of
Yes.
2018. We were kind of laughing about it, but like it was just interesting coins to try to remember from a while back.
Damn, Charlie, you brought Vietnam flashbacks. Fucking Funfair, and that's crazy too because they if you actually look back in the oldest like video recordings of Bitcoin conferences, Funfair has a booth in all those. I mean, the reason that
they did good advertising.
Yeah, they've been around forever, and these are Bitcoin OGs, the founders of it and stuff like that. That's why it's still actually around right now, but it's doing shit. They're gonna have to partner. I mean, they're just gonna have to give up their ass and shit to like Caesars or MGM or some shit. I mean, like
those where mistakes really can ruin someone's life and can't be fixed, and there's nobody to talk. There's no 1-800 help. I just f***ed up my account. And people want that in finance.
Well, of course they want that. So here's what it comes down to.
Too bad.
What you're describing is the equivalent of the consumer in the 1920s saying, this Model T is insane. The brakes don't work. The car breaks down. It's incredibly dirty. There's no windshield or headlights. Why would anybody want to drive a car?
Yeah.
Come on, let's be a little bit patient. Let's give the opportunity for the technology to evolve and develop. We didn't have rules of the road when the Model T was invented. We didn't have stop signs and speed limits and traffic cops.
There were people who wanted to ban cars.
Of course there were. And guess who that was? The horse and buggy industry, because of the competitive threat. Why do you suppose that Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett are two of the biggest haters of Bitcoin? It represents an existential threat on today's banking system.
Right.
So we need to recognize that the evolution is going to occur. The first thing that happened when we had cars were car accidents. That led to calls for rules of the road. And that's where we are. Crypto is only 12 years old. Give us a little slack, will you? We're figuring it out. We haven't got it all figured out yet, but I guarantee you this. Guaranteed, you will have crypto in your portfolio. You'll either do it now.
Well, I already do. I just hate it. But I have it.
You'll do it now at big risk and huge uncertainty.
Yes.
Or you'll do it in 10 years when it's incredibly obvious. You could have bought General Motors in 1934.
Yes.
Or you can wait to buy General Motors today.
So what comes first? Is it the consumer-facing application like the mention that you're talking about, or is it the financial rails that the banks get on that we're not really even necessarily seeing? It just is.
I think it's a chicken and egg.
Commercialization, you're asking.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the ongoing development, adoption occurring simultaneously. It's a snowball effect. And the most important thing to realize is that this is a global technology. So any one country trying to kill it can only kill it within their borders. When China killed Bitcoin, they banned it. All they did was chase all the Bitcoin miners to the US. We got thousands of jobs.
Yep.
Well, if we killed crypto in the US, they'll just go to
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Well, Hong Kong likes it. London wants it. And
the EU just today passed its major
East.
Crypto regulation called MiCA. They're welcoming crypto. So we did the same thing with stem cell research. We didn't like it morally, so we banned it. All they did was send all the scientists to South Korea and Israel.
I agree with a lot of what you say. I just wish there were one example of a consumer product that people who are not into crypto are using, and there isn't, and it's been 15 years, and it could come tomorrow for all I know.
So what you need to do, Josh.
But most crypto is used to buy other crypto.
No. That's totally untrue. What you need to do is real simple. On April 25th, I'm having a 1-hour webinar called 12 real world use cases.
There are actually 12.
There are thousands, but I'm going to show you only 12.
All right, I'm in.
And it's
Josh,
going,
you walk
Another
right into
big
the trap.
income.
it's going to be on
I'm
April
in. I wanna know.
25th.
I want to learn.
It's free. You get 1 CE
Oh my
credit.
God, this guy's taking the piss. Oh my
Hey, I
God.
would say I gotta get like some of the other ones. I'm like, come on, that's bullshit. But that one, that was actually good.
Yeah, that was pretty good and stuff. All right, we'll pause it here, you guys. But like, but if I had to like look, what they're talking about is pretty like it is like they're both right. There is tons of real world applications for crypto and stuff, but at the same time, a lot of people are speculating. But that's what most financial markets are. They're for speculating, putting capital here, and then taking these bets, and then they can create real things to help the real world. That's what it is. That's what the capital markets are, right? That's what it is. Like, and so is most crypto used to buy other crypto coins? Yes, it is. But the Bitcoin or Ethereum are used as the piggy banks to then use the Chuck E. Cheese tokens to then place bets and place investments on things that could actually change the world in the future. That's what they're there for.
Yep.
And it just kind of is what it is there, man. But definitely check out the videos in the description below and stuff like that. But dudes, what are you guys doing, man? Get into Crypto Mindset. Q2, it's live right now, dude. You guys have exactly 2 days. You have less than 2 days. You got 2 days and 23 hours. You got 1 day and 23 hours left. What are you doing? Get in right now. Figure out a way. I was about to say, like, take money out of your mom's purse. You put it right back. No, but just it's time to get in right now. This will teach you how to like basically be self-sovereign. You'll be able to fish for yourself. We'll teach you how to fish. We're not going to keep fishing for you. We're going to teach you how to fish for yourself. But along the way, we can help you out with like, hey, this is what we're looking, and we can compare notes. We have the Citadel and stuff. There's tons of things that we offer and stuff. This is the best crypto education course in the world. Period. We've onboarded over 12,000 people and soon to be 13,000.
Good as shit.
Boom. Beautiful. And with that, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'll let you guys go, man. Our next stream is going to be with Charlie in his channel in the morning and stuff, as well as we go ahead.
Troy at 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll be over on Troy Francis's channel.
Yep.
First, and then we'll go over to my channel, Cultivate Crypto, in the afternoon at some point. And then what do we have after that?
So we have in the afternoon we have Fresh and Fit. So we'll be back on Fresh and Fit for Money Mondays. We're gonna be doing my stream. We're gonna be doing your stream, Troy's stream, Fresh and Fit. We're gonna be doing Donovan Sharp's stream next week on Tuesday. We're gonna be doing Sterling. We got Jay Waller. We got a lot of streams coming up, you guys. So be sure to be tuned for that stuff. And with that, man, thank you so much for joining me. Peace.
You didn't have to cut me off.